Yes.
Okay, gang, we're going to get started. I want to welcome everyone. This is Steve Love. I'm so excited today because my good buddy Casey is going to be laying some stuff on you that you just don't get. Um, so we got everything going here, hopefully technically, and
I think
looking
so.
at.
I'm gonna have Bruce. I'm just gonna have Bruce. Bruce, if you can move whatever you've got. You've got 4 menus open. If you can push those off to the side, even that would be great.
Anyway, can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Good. Anyway,
Can't
I was
see
just
you,
saying,
but I hear
I
you.
was turning to looking at the window. It's a beautiful Saturday morning, and I know there's a lot of places you can be in the spring on Saturday, but you've chosen to be here with us, and there's not a more important thing that you can be doing. I've been in a boot camp myself the last several days with Grant Cardone, and I recommend his book. It's called The 10 Times Rule. And I think you know him, Casey.
I
Um,
do. I do.
but he has been talking about how it's not just what you know, and we sell what we're in the business at Prosperity Through Real Estate in Las Vegas, RIA, of giving out information to make you a better investor. And as important as that is, according to Grant and Casey, it's more important who you know, who you can get in front of. Okay, because no matter how much you know, you're not going to do a deal without talking to other people. And the more people you can get in front of and talk to and connect with, that's where your business comes from. And today, Casey, who I met years ago and has been my own personal mentor, really, during that whole time, is going to show you some stuff today that will revolutionize your business. Now, as you know, and this connectivity thing, that's why we give our weekly networking meetings. We used to do them at Sizzler, but right now we're online on Zoom every Wednesday at noon. We used to do them at the Rampart Casino in Buffet in Las Vegas, but now we've moved them all to Zoom on Wednesdays at noon Pacific time. And so we hope you attend those. And when we were at Sizzler, gosh, we've been doing that now for several years. Casey started coming. And so a lot of the folks that come to Sizzler know Casey very well. A lot of them attend his other events, and I know we've got several people on today that attend Casey's other events. And I recommend whatever Casey has to offer, and he's always, has some events going on right here in the San Fernando Valley, that you show up. Because there's not a guy that I can recommend more. I mean, they don't call him the ideal networker for nothing. And he knows something about everything. Because he knows so many people. I just can't say enough about Casey. I love this man, dearly, and I love his knowledge. I love him personally, and so does my wife, Robin. We've spent countless hours with him in his office, at Corky's Diner, and other restaurants. And you're going to have a great time today because he's doing something he's never done today. And he'll explain that in a minute. But with that, I'm just going to turn it over to Casey, and we'll go from there. Big hand for Casey. Yay!
Awesome. Steve Love, I just so appreciate you and Robin and everybody at the PTRE. And gang, if you are new and I start using an acronym like PTRE, just know that stands for Prosperity Through Real Estate. And that's really the organization that Steve and Robin have put together, and it brings together entrepreneurs in the real estate space from literally all over. And Steve's right, Wednesday, our networking at noon is some of the best networking really on the planet as far as real estate investing goes. And I'm actually going to use a little bit of that as our inspiration for today. And so like Steve said, I came to Prosperity Through Real Estate, or I started coming to the weekly meetings really as a way to support Steve and Robin. And also as a real estate investor, wanted to really sort of kind of put into practice a lot of what I've taken and trained other industries and other professions about and bring that to that space. And what we found was there's a humongous opening for folks to step into a different aspect of building relationships and connecting inside of the real estate ecosystem. Okay. And so, Steve, I first just want to give a huge shout out to you and Robin and everybody at the Prosperity Through Real Estate team, not only at the home office, but all the annex offices around the country that we have as well. So get back to Grant. Steve, I love you. I love Robin. I'll take really good care of the crew here. Grant is absolutely awesome. Grant and I have spoke on many stages together. He is a whirlwind of power. Go enjoy your 10X conference. And just remember, his tagline is "Sell or be sold." So we'll start there. So you guys, welcome. Welcome to Networking Riches, the shortened real estate specific Networking Riches. If you and I don't know each other, my name is Casey Eberhart. I'm going to be your host for the day today. And I have with me somewhere over in space, Bruce Waterman, and Bruce is running the technology. And so when you see if you see a little couple of black boxes on the computer, that just means that he's moving around menus on his side. It won't be out now. It's perfect, right? And on the right-hand side, so if you guys see me glance over here, what you don't see is I've got a giant light right here that's blaring in my face. I have you guys right here in front of me. Over here where you can't see, although I can probably do it here. I can go here. I've got another camera here so I can actually follow along and watch your facial reactions. So if you do have questions, I'll ask you to raise your hand or whatever. Okay. And then over here, I have an entire storyboard of how the event is going to go. So if you guys see me giving up one of these, just roll with me. Okay. So let's just jump right in and get started. I know some of you I don't know. Here's what I can tell you. It's an honor to be here today. I know there's no more valuable asset that you have than your time. And so I want to first say thank you straight out of the gate here for spending a few hours with us today. My job is to, by the end of this, give you a different perspective, a different way of looking at your real estate business. And so I'm going to focus primarily on real estate from an aspect of an investor point of view. Now, I have worked and played the game of real estate literally for 20 years. I've done over 56 real estate transactions back and forth. I have funded myself multiple loans. I've given bridge money. I have worked with real estate investors. I coach several real estate agents. I've worked with and coached real estate investors, as well as all of the services that surround and support the real estate investing game. So I have been in the real estate game far more than I usually let on, but that's just because, it is what it is. So I also have the opportunity to speak and travel literally all around the world and teach somewhat what we're going to teach today, but more broad. So what's really cool about today is it's a little bit more focused down into the real estate game. I've been, like Steve said, I've been an entrepreneur since I was pretty much out of the womb. Since I was amniotic fluid, I was pretty much an entrepreneur, right? And so my career has been built on buying, selling, and building not only companies, but properties and real estate deals and transactions. And so today, what we're going to do is we're going to really take the investing side of real estate and crack it open from a different facet. Much like a diamond, I kind of look at the game of real estate as a game, and I look at that game as a diamond. And a really valuable diamond, here's what I know about it. And I don't know a lot about diamonds. It's not really my gig. But what I do know about a diamond is the more facets it has, the more valuable it becomes. The more clear it is, the more valuable it becomes. And so today, my goal is that when we walk out of here, that you have a different perspective a little bit different facet that you can sand off as we go out and create your own diamond. Okay. So let's kind of just jump right in. Let's go through some housekeeping stuff. Okay. So on housekeeping, let's just kind of set up the stage of what we're going to do. And number one, I'm going to let you know that we've got a couple of people monitoring chat. Bruce Waterman is monitoring chat. I am monitoring chat. I have several friends and people that I work with on here that I'm sure can help me monitor chat as well. And also, Bruce, now we actually get to see what those menus are. Now they're just back to black boxes. So I am really big on chat. Okay, so here's the format. The format is we're going to go. You will be out of here no later than 1 o'clock. That is my promise to you. If we can get out of here a little bit earlier, then we'll get out a little bit earlier. Okay. So the format is this. It's our event, right? There's a small group of us on here. We get to play and go about this how we want. So I'm going to continue to massage this as we go so that we can have a lot of fun while we do this and come out of here as a better networked group, right? So we know that there's a lot of strangers on here. And when I say strangers, it just means friends are on here that you haven't met yet, right? And what I can promise you is that by the end of this, if we do this right, you're going to have some connections that you didn't have by the time you got on here. Okay, that's number one. Number two, we will take breaks. If we all decide that we need to pee together, then we're going to take a little bit of time and we'll go pee together. Not all in the same room. That would be a little bit weird, but we will, we'll take some breaks. We'll take some breaks. Okay. This is being recorded. Okay. And it is being streamed live on Facebook as well. So howdy, Facebook friends. If you are on Facebook, unfortunately, I won't be able to see any comments that you make off the top of my head, but that's okay. I'll come back after we're done and answer all of those. Okay. So I believe, I don't know this to be true. And maybe if Giovanna or Steve are still on here, I'm not sure what they do with the recording. I believe you'll get the recording, but I can't promise it. I know it's being recorded, but I'll figure out, we'll get you guys the recording. Okay. Lunch. Here's the thing. Lunch is for wimps. So what we're going to do is we are going to go without lunch. Okay. And what all that really means is we're going to kind of go through this and at the end we'll be done. And there's no need for you to spend time going to lunch and back. Okay. Pictures. I have no problem at all. If there's a slide or something that makes sense for you and you think that'll be helpful for your business, please feel free to take pictures of it with your camera. You can screenshot it. You can do whatever you want. I would ask this, that if there are other people's picture on the screen, I always like saying, like, look, if you don't want your picture put on the screen, then you probably want to take your camera off. Although I'm going to encourage you to keep your camera on because then I can see you over here. But if you don't want to risk your picture being seen on Facebook, you can just take your camera off. Okay. Hey, Shanta. Oh my gosh. And Kathy's on here as well. And Shari. Oh my gosh. It's like Friends Bonanza. It's like I'm already in like my peeps now. I love it. Okay. Phones. Here's the thing. You are at minimum 3 times throughout today's presentation going to need your phone. Okay. So if you are not watching this on your phone, I'm going to ask you to just have your phone next to you. We are going to use it 3 times. If you don't know how to use your phone, that's okay. We'll help you get through that. If you don't know how to use your phone, there's a website I'm going to direct you to. It really is an explanation. It'll show you exactly how to use any element of any phone. All you have to do is go in and type in how to use and your phone name, and it'll come up with thousands and thousands of people that will help you. Okay, so this might be your first writer downer. Your first writer downer is a site called YouTube. Okay, YouTube will show you pretty much anything you need to know on how to use your phone. Okay, so you just plug in what deal it is there, and it'll help you use your phone. Okay, next up, questions. just in the format of this, I'm gonna put this through the lens of how we as investors get more deals done. Okay, so I know many of you are at the beginning stages of your investing career. Some of you are probably in the middle stages, meaning you're in the acquiring stage, and maybe some of you are in the services profession on the side of the real estate game as well. Okay, so here's what I know to be true. Those that are connected have access to deals over the people that are not connected. Okay, and that's just the reality. And I'm gonna speak a lot from just my experience in the real estate investing game and how I choose deals and how I have access to deals, and how by being better connected. And what I mean by better connected, I just mean I am on purpose and with intention in how and when and where we start to build out the network. So today, the format of this whole thing is we're going to put it under the premise of, you know, no one, you have no friends, you have no social media following, you have nothing, and we're going to start to build out your real estate investing, let's call it team, okay, or organization, okay? And I've got a list of all the people or some people that I think need to be a part of that I'm going to encourage you to intentionally start to gather and put in your hip pocket, right? You want to really be able to put some of those folks in your phone or on your social media, so that when you call them, they look at you as a green dot. So I really kind of have this thing that people are either a green dot or a red dot. Now I'm an iPhone user, so all my iPhone users will know exactly what I'm talking about. When somebody calls, right? When Mike Hyatt calls me, I have to make a decision. A green dot means I pick up the phone, or a red dot means he goes to the voicemail, right? I would like all of you to be a green dot for everybody in your space. And that's really going to come as a way of what we're going to talk about today. Okay. So questions. Here is the really cool thing. I speak and train all over the world. I do events where I have to stand on stage and there's microphones and all that jazz, and there's no real opportunity to have conversation. In this environment, there's only 28 of us on here. That's awesome. What that really means is that we can engage in a lively conversation and discussion. So please, I'm begging of you, as a speaker and trainer, what I'm really used to, and I hope to not fall into the habit during this, is doing what's called leaving an open loop. So is it okay with you guys, and I'm looking at you guys to give me jazz hands if that's how we'll vote today, is with jazz hands. Would it be okay if I peeled back the curtain quite extensively and just been 100% transparent in pretty much everything from how speakers speak and train to how sales are done, all that kind of jazz? Are you guys okay with that? We got a few jazz hands. Alejandra's like right in front of her boat. So Alejandra, she's got a boat. You know what boat stands for? Break out another 1,000. Right? By the way, there are two great days in a boater's life: the day they get their boat and the day they get rid of it. Right? So Alejandro, welcome. Appreciate you being here. So as a speaker, one of the things that we do is we open a bunch of loops, and then we wait until the end before we try to sell you something, and then we close up those loops. Okay? That's not what today is. So if I hear myself catching myself leaving open loops, I really need somebody to raise their hand, go one of these, give it a jazz hand, text Bruce, whatever, and say, hey, make sure to finish that thought or that sentence, just because I'm used to kind of doing that open loop thing, okay? So I say that to say this. Here's the deal. There's going to be 4 conversations that take place over the course of the next few hours. The conversation that I have with all of you. There's going to be the conversation that you have with me. There's going to be the conversation that you guys are going to have with each other, because we've got breakout rooms, we've got exercises to do together. So there's going to be some conversation amongst you guys. And then there's also going to be the conversation that goes on in your head. I don't like him. I like him. I wonder why his clock says 5 o'clock. Oh, why does he have a pewter Washington monument with a UFO? This is my monument with a UFO. People always ask me about that. You guys care what this is? I'll just tell you because it's kind of funny. I produced a movie called Men in White. It was about garbage slinging alien fighters. It was a beautiful movie. And this was our crew gift because we crashed a UFO through the Washington Monument about this size. So that's just my little homage to movie producing. So, okay, we're into tangent mode already. Absolutely love it. Okay, so I just say this: questions, jazz hands, chat, wave them back and forth, whatever you want to do. Love to have your contribution. I know this stuff like the back of my hand. So if there's something that doesn't make sense, I'm here for you. I really want you to feel comfortable and open to take yourself off mute, ask questions, get in exchanges. It's all going to be awesome. Okay. So let's get started with the foundation of this. Okay. And at the end of the day, this foundation of how this all works is around a system. Okay. And networking. And when I say networking, I really want you to think about this from a connectivity standpoint. It's one thing to show up at a networking event like Steve's Wednesday Sizzler meetings, which, by the way, are fantastic. But I got to tell you, there's probably 3/4 of the people there that are not really there on purpose or intentional in terms of building true connections and true relationships. Some people just show up because they want to pitch a deal. Some people just want to show up because it's on a Wednesday and it gets them out of the office. Some people want to show up because they think the food at Sizzler is awesome, right? What I would really like to put you guys in a position of is the ability for you to have access to deals before the market hits them. And that's really, really the key in real estate investing, isn't it? I mean, at the end of the day, most people will agree that a real estate deal, the money is made on the buy. And I always look at that from a perspective of the real estate is on the buy, but it's also on the sell. But the sell for me is secondary. I want access to the deals up front. And if I can choose and pick and choose what deals match my portfolio, my risk tolerance or my risk portfolio, then it gives me the opportunity to kind of be in control, and I can move those deals to other people in my network as I see fit. So that's how we're going to really play for the rest of the day today. It's just a system, you guys. It's just a system. System stands for save yourself some time, energy, and money. I do not know a single well, let's say this. With my friends that do real estate, any of them that have a portfolio above $50 million in real estate, none of them don't have systems. I don't know a single one that doesn't have systems. And so today, we're going to really help put together an actual system and a process to build out this real estate portfolio. Okay? So one of the things that we got to start with is looking at our real estate business like it's a business. And one of the things about big businesses is they always have a board of directors, right? They always have a board of directors. And so that board of directors, so Bruce, can you take me to the next slide? Please. Okay. All companies and big time CEOs have boards of directors. And look at what do these board of directors do? They advise the CEO. And if you look at a board of directors in major companies, what you will find is that board of directors is usually made up of maybe one or two people that are in that same industry, but more often than not, they have surrounded themselves with coaches, mentors, people in other industries, other professions to help give advice, even if it's not in the same category. I'm going to encourage you to do that. And that is, you want to surround yourself with people that are going to push, that are going to force you to be outside your comfort zone, that are going to give you a well-rounded batch of experiences and advice and opinions so that you as the investor or I as the investor can make a better, well-informed decision. Okay. So when we're done with today, I'm going to make an invitation for you to allow me to be a part of your board of directors for a short amount of time. Okay, so that's gonna be kind of it. But if it's with me, cool. If it's Steve and a bunch of other folks, cool. If it's your network, that's cool. But please, this is not a game that's played best in a solo environment. You're gonna need a network, you're gonna need some connections, you're gonna need some folks playing by your side to help you not only have access, but also create the ROI or the return that, that you're looking for, okay? Now, you're gonna walk away today with a bunch of stuff to do, no question. I am just gonna say that today is the day it's time for you to take some action. If you've never done a deal before, take some action that moves you closer to that first deal. If you've done one deal, let's take some action to get us to a next deal. If you've only bought an SFR and you want to go multi, then let's make that. But let's start taking some action, right? We've all had a chance to sit around our houses for the last year. Now it's time to get back out there and put all of the Zooms that we've taken in. Let's put them all to use and let's bring them to use. So I have a question for you, and this is where I'm going to ask you guys to put stuff in the chat. I have a question for you. Now, for those of you that know the answer because you are with me and you play with me outside of this, I'm going to have you wait about 30 seconds or 15 seconds before you put the answer in. But I want to ask you guys, for those of you that I'm brand new to, I want you to put in the chat who the most powerful woman in the world is. Don't think about it too much. It should take 1 second. Just who off the top of your head, most powerful woman in the world? Oprah. Oprah. Let's see. Just throw it in the chat. There has to be more than one person in the chat. Okay, Queen Elizabeth, Oprah. Okay, pretty much everybody can go in. We'll just open it up. We'll just open it up for everybody. Oprah, Oprah, Oprah. It's doesn't matter. She is the number one person, no matter what. No matter if I'm in front of a room of 20,000 people or 6, always Oprah is in the top 3. We've got Queen Elizabeth. Once in a while we get Michelle Obama. Once in a while we get someone will say their wife. But at the end of the day, most people will say Oprah. Well, here's the deal. I want you to think about why Oprah is the most powerful woman in the world. All she really sells, you guys, all she really sells is her influence. That's it. She has a formula, and she uses that formula to build influence, and then she leverages that influence. Okay? And whoever is getting out of your car, I'm going to go ahead and mute you. Okay. So if you really want to break this down, Oprah does everything with a formula, actually. And that formula is OPC plus TR equals E squared. Okay? Other people's content plus their reach equals exponential exposure. Okay? Exponential exposure. Okay? So what does she do? She brings somebody out on her show that has a social media following. She interviews Tom Cruise or whoever. He's got some a movie that he's talking about. Then he brings some of his people from his Instagram page or his TikTok page or his YouTube channel. And what does that give Oprah? Exposure. What does she do with that exposure? She brings that back around here to show more of her product, goods, or services in front of, and thus the thing continues. So for today, what I want us to think about is how we can be Oprah. Okay? And we're going to use Oprah as as she relates to a Zoom meeting or a networking event. And that's really where we're going to start and play today. Okay? So before we start even thinking about going to a Zoom meeting or a Zoom room, when we look at that, the first thing we really need to do before we even go any further is really calculate what an actual lifetime value of a connection or a customer would be. So in this case, we're going to talk about real estate, and we're going to talk about a customer, whatever that means to your particular business. So if you are in the services to real estate businesses, then that might mean customer. I'm going to come at it from a connection and deal flow. Okay, I'm going to look at it from a connection and a deal flow. Okay, so what that means is, sorry about that. What that means is we need to come up with what one connection or one deal maker means to us before we ever go. Okay, so here's what I'm going to ask you to do, and I'm gonna this is a writer downer, and I'm gonna actually have you put your number in the chat. Okay, so once you come up with your number, just drop it in the chat. And here's how we come up with this. So we're going to come up with a customer lifetime value. And this is, I'm doing this because I want you guys to see the perspective of how valuable our relationships really are. Okay, how valuable they really are. Okay, because I think most times people, and we all just look at like one deal right out in front of us, but I really want to look at the totality. Okay, so lifetime value of a customer or a deal is the number of dollars roughly per deal. Okay, and we're going to times that by how many deals per year that one product or one connection can potentially bring you. Okay, and then times the number of years that you think you're going to be in the real estate game. Okay, so if you're going to be in the real estate game, that's how we do it. So so for example, if we think we're going to make $15,000 per deal, right? And we think we can do 10 deals per year. That's $150,000 times 10 years in the game, 1.5 mil. Okay, so just take a second and figure out what your lifetime value of a connection is. And once you have that number, I'm going to ask you guys to throw that in the chat. Okay, so Wesley Harris is at 120,000. Okay, thanks, Wesley. So everybody just drop it in the chat. We've got Peggy. I think she's got, Peg's is that 150,000? Yeah, so Peggy's got 150,000. So we've got 120K, we've got 150K. What else do we have? So if you're still working on that, just drop it in the chat, you guys. This is all about real estate is a participation sport. So, okay, Danny says 200K. Okay, awesome. Awesome, Danny. Okay, we'll take just a few more. We'll have just a couple more seconds. I'll continue to feed my caffeine addiction. Okay, so is it Kalichi? Did I say that right?
Yes.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so Kalichi says 250K. Okay, Lorraine and Dean say 180K. Let's just do a couple more. And if you're not in the real estate game, that's okay. You're here just as hanging out with us. That's awesome. Just make this work for whatever your particular business is. Okay. Let's get two more and then we'll move. Okay, so Alejandra, 250K. Okay, and we'll do one more. So if you got one, drop it in drop it in the chat there. Okay, we got Marcy Green at 100K. Okay, now, gang, I want you to think about this for a second. Look at what we just did just now. We said, what does one new connection that drops deals in our laps, what is it worth to you? That one person. I want you to take this number on your notepad, and I want you to highlight that. Circle it, star it, do whatever you got to do to it. Because this is the number of one really good, powerful connection. So throughout the day, I'm going to start asking you, what does your business look like? What does your portfolio look like when we add 10 new connections over the course of a year, or 50, or even 100? And the first question I'm going to ask you is, are you showing up and talking to people as if this is what they mean to your portfolio? Or are we not showing up like that person represents that amount of money to our portfolio over time? Okay, so let's kind of break this down, how we're going to look at the totality of this whole thing. Where's mine? So we call this sort of the relationship marketing cycle, if you will. Okay, and anytime if I get ready to erase this and you guys still need that, just tell me and I can either snap a picture of it and I'll pass it over to you or whatever. Okay. So Bruce, can you take me to the next slide for me? Awesome. Okay. So here is kind of the basic premise. The basic premise of this is very simple. Okay. We've got a bucket in the center of this thing. In this bucket, we pour everything we have into this bucket: connections, networking, leads, opportunities, deal flow, seminar, all of this stuff goes into this bucket. And a lot of our buckets have holes at the bottom. And at the end of the day, what we're talking about today is plugging the holes in the bucket of the leaky bucket. We all have it. We all have leaky buckets. Okay. So when we break this down from building a relationship with someone or building a connection with somebody, it actually goes through 4 different components, 4 different parts. Number 1, somebody's going to meet you and they're going to be a contact. Okay. They're going to be a contact. That doesn't mean anything other than I met you. Hey, Donna, I met you. You're my contact. Okay. Hey, Jenny, I met you. You're my contact. Hey, Amy, I met you at an event or you were on a Zoom with me. You're a contact, right? Right now, anybody on here that I don't know, right now, you are for me a contact. I am for you a contact. Our job really is to move those contacts through this process. Okay. So from contact, we can start to qualify, disqualify people and move them to prospect. Okay. Now, prospect just simply means, do they have the opportunity at some point to either help us do a deal, introduce us to somebody that has a deal, bring us a deal, or be part of our team, or ultimately, if we're in the services business, to be a potential customer. Okay. So if you're on here and you run an escrow company, or you run a sales company, or you run a syndication group, for example, not everybody is going to be a prospect. Okay. And this is one where I think some people get tripped up. Couple of things that I put into the category of prospect that I think a lot of people miss. I don't consider somebody a prospect if they don't have the money to do whatever it is we need to do together. Okay. So if I'm looking at this and I'm looking for a partner in a deal, and I see Alejandra and she comes to the table, she's got money, she's got a deal, she's ready to rock and roll. She then moves to prospect. Okay. Now, I'm not really into labels. So even though I put these on here, remember, we're talking about people and connectivity today, right? So out of those people, out of those prospects, some of them, not all of them, but some of them are going to ultimately become customers or partners or clients or whatever. Okay. Now, out of those partners or bird dogs or deal makers or whatever you want to call them, some of them, if we do great partnerships with, are going to become referral partners. Okay. And I think this is really critically important, because if you are someone who is an amazing partner, which really stems from who you are being in the face of a deal and who you are being in the sense, in the scope of the process, really can attract some folks to you and they become your referral partners. I have many people that I refer people to all the time. Peggy Beauregard is on here. I know that if somebody comes to me and says, hey, you know what? I've got a little money in my IRA. I want to get in the real estate game, but I don't really want to go out and buy family properties or multifamily properties. I don't really understand the game, but I want to dip my toe in the water. What would your suggestion be? I can say, well, here's what I know about Peggy. Peggy has a portfolio of deals that she's always looking to partner with people and bring money into those deals. I'd highly recommend that you go have a chat with Peggy. Let me do a quick introduction. Okay. Now, what just happened? I am a referral partner for Peggy. Okay. That means that she's done a pretty good job of making me in her little wheel here become a referral partner. Marcy Green from C Green Financial, right? Marcy sells money, right? So if you need money and you need funding for your business, or you need help going through the credit process to get you set up for funding, then I can pass you over to Marcy Green, right? Go hang out with Marcy. In this case, in Marcy's case, I have now moved and transitioned into the referral partner category. If you suck at sales, right? If you are like, oh my gosh, I am terrified of sounding salesy or pushy and I don't want to sell anything because blah, 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 blah. Then at the end of the day, I'm going to tell you to go talk to Donna. Donna's out in Chicago. She runs an amazing Facebook group helping people to get better at sales. She's available for private consultation. She works with lots of groups and big organizations, helping them get over the hurdles to help them sell more, right? Referral partners. I am those referral partners in other people's wheel. You want to start to develop your batch of referral partners so that when somebody says, hey, you know what? I have a storage facility for sale, or, oh, hey, I have a note for sale, or, hey, I want to buy a note, or, hey, somebody tell me about tax lien certificates, that you have a group of people out there that can refer you in business and that you are able to refer out of business. Okay. Okay. So given all of that, this is the slide that we're going to come back to multiple times throughout the day. Okay, so we have to start by going, okay, let's get ready to go to an event. Okay, we're going to go to a Zoom. And I'm just going to use a context of something like a RIA, right? Many of us belong to RIAs. If you're not familiar, RIA stands for Real Estate Investment Association. Steve and Robin have the one here in Los Angeles. We also have one out in Las Vegas. But they have them all over the country. Okay, it's just a real estate club. Okay, so let's just for today use one of those events as our framework, because I think if we have some framework, this will start to make some sense. So again, before I move to what we're going to do before we ever go to an event, anybody have any questions or comments? Just throw yourself off mute or throw them in the chat, or give it a jazz hand. Alejandra, did you have a question? You're just wanting me to keep getting jealous of your boat. I know what it is.
No, I was just giving out jazz hands. Thank you.
Okay, I appreciate that. I'm a total boat person, so I subscribe to every boating magazine on the planet, unfortunately. So, or fortunately, it's just big. It's my vision board. Hey, Juanita, welcome to the party. So
I have not a question, but a comment. I love your idea of describing what a diamond is, the more facets that it has. So meaning the more connections we have with these different kinds of sources, the more valuable those we are to them and they are to us. That is an amazing way of expressing the importance of having the kinds of connections that you need to connect all around us. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Marcy. That's the first time I've used that. I've thought it out, but this is the first time I've actually used it. So I'll take that as really good feedback. I can see Yvonne down there just going, you know, and if you guys have not yet met Yvonne Taruya, Yvonne was my original business coach. So she's business coach OG. And now I have the good fortune, not only is she one of my closest friends, but we get to work together in our Platinum Inner Circle Mastermind program. And I'm so honored and thrilled, YT, that you're here. I know that you've got a ton of stuff going on. So I appreciate it. Okay. And there's Donna with her thumbs up. I love that. Okay, but this is a total tangent. Donna lives in Chicago, and I have to just tell you, I watched a hilarious movie last night. I don't watch movies very often because I used to produce them, and so it's very hard for me to watch a movie and not know exactly how everything was made. So I can't really get into a movie. However, there is a movie starring Melissa McCarthy and oh man, just came out last night called Thunder Force. It is a hilarious comedy romp. You have to watch it.
Octavia Spencer.
Oh yeah, Octavia Spencer. They are. You just watch the movie. It's on Netflix. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. Okay. So side tangent. Okay. So any other things, but any other comments, thoughts, concerns, anything before we go to an event or before we set ourselves up to go to an event? Okay. So before we ever go to a RIA association meeting or a networking event, I really am going to encourage you to really put some work and thought into who is your ideal collaboration partner? Who is your ideal client? Okay. And in this case, we're going to call client connection. Okay. Who is that ideal client? Okay. Now, for many of you that are new to the investing game, you've gone to some seminars, you've learned from some amazing trainers. Can I just share with you? We've got plenty of time. Are you guys okay if I share another story? I don't usually get a chance to share all these stories, so I thought I'll share some stories with you. So in about 2000, it might have been even 2002, 2003, my business partner and I, my best friend, he and I both moved to Los Angeles, and we had decided he was in international shipping and I was in the movie business. And we came together and we started an equipment rental company for the film and television business. And as we started building that out, one day I was on my computer and I was typing in Las Vegas real estate. Okay. And I found a condo for sale in Las Vegas, just off the strip for $30,000. And I remember this like it happened 18 seconds ago. I whipped my chair around. His name is Brandon. And I said, B, pack a suitcase. We are going to Las Vegas. We are in the real estate business. He was like, what are you talking about? I'm like, we can buy a condo in Las Vegas for 30 grand. Like we're going. We had no idea how any of this worked. Like none. Like I was making movies, you know, we were renting traffic cones, like we had no business. It was hilarious, right? Well, by the time I said that, we had decided we were going to Las Vegas. Okay. Now, in the meantime, he got an email from an outfit out in St. Louis, and it was a real estate conference, and it was put on by, and I don't even know if these guys still exist. It was put on by an organization called CRE, and it stood for Creative Real Estate. Okay, and they were putting on a 3-day seminar. Okay, so he said, if we're going to Las Vegas and buying real estate, before that, we need to go to St. Louis and learn about how to buy real estate, and that's what this conference was. So we quickly, literally like the same day, bought airline tickets, got hotel rooms, went home. We were roommates at the time. I went home, literally packed his suitcase and mine. Yes, it was one of the very first times I ever had to dig through somebody else's underwear drawer and throw some underwear in a bag, right? Brought a suitcase back. We closed up shop. We boarded a plane and we went to St. Louis. Now, you guys, for 3 days, just out of curiosity, has anybody not experienced a 3-day event where it's just speaker after speaker after speaker after speaker after speaker? Anybody not experienced that? Alejandro, you've never been to one of these? You have been. Okay. So sometimes they're called pitchathons. Sometimes they're whatever deal. It's speaker after speaker selling stuff, right? My partner, Brandon, and I, we had no clue, you guys, none. We sat in the front row because that's where Robert Kiyosaki said that's where you learn stuff, right? So we sat in the front row, and here's what happens. The first speaker comes up, and it was, I don't even remember who it was. I want to say Dawn Twyford, I might have her name wrong. And they sold something on foreclosures, right? And we sat there and we were like mesmerized. I mean, like our eyes were this big. We were like, oh, we have found it, the Holy Grail. Someone's going to teach us how to do foreclosures. That's where there's going to be gazillions. So she puts up a slide and she's selling a program for $2,000. You guys, I am not joking. I think I probably sprained an ankle. I was running to the back of the room so fast to buy this program, right? So we were like, there's not gonna be enough. There's not enough. We got it. We got the program. We were like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. We got what we needed out of this conference. And then another speaker came up, and we're listening to this speaker. And this speaker is how to property manage your properties better. And we're like, we're going to be rental tycoons. We got to have this, no question. And we flew to the back of the room and bought the program, right? And then they took a break. And we're like, why are you taking a break? We only have 3 days. What else are we going to do? So we come back, and then there was another speaker. And this speaker was all about how to protect your assets, right? And it was all about tax strategies to help you. And we were like, we never thought of this idea. We've got to get this. And we flew to the back of the room. So at the end of 3 days and $90,000 later, and every single one of the speakers' programs purchased, we were finally ready to embark on our real estate career. You guys, we had no idea that we were, but for us, we were just taking it in. We were eager to take on all of this stuff. And the way we looked at it was, these guys have been here before. They're giving us information. And for a couple of $1,000, we could take it and go home and learn it. And they'll never be able to take that skill set away from us. Right? I've only told that story a few times, and I always get some hilarious reactions. People would laugh their ass off and go, you're an idiot for spending 90 grand. Right? The funny thing is, I actually told Grant Cardone this story backstage at an event, and he was like, well, shit, I wish you were at my event. That was his first response, right? And then he was like, and let me guess what happened. And I said, okay. He said, my guess is you went out and you started buying real estate the next day. And I said, that's exactly what happened. We got back, we then got back to Los Angeles, drove out to Las Vegas. I thought we were buying a $30,000 condo. We actually put money down on a $72,000 condo, and we were finally in the real estate game. The reason I say that is this. We didn't have a network. We didn't have a network. We didn't know anything about real estate. But what we did know was that we were investors. And by the way, when I say we were investors, I'll put investor in heavy quotes here. That's just what we called it. I don't know if that's really what it was. But what I can tell you is that $90,000 investment in our skill set and in our education has paid for itself so many times over, it's not even funny. Many of the books and tapes and CDs, we haven't even opened. And that was 20 years ago. I still have banker's box. I had to pay extra to fly all that crap home. I was so terrified it wouldn't fit in a suitcase, so we had to go to the FedEx thing that was at the hotel and just start boxing boxes of books and tapes and CDs up. Actually, I don't even think there were CDs. I don't even think CDs existed then, right? At the end of the day, those skill sets that we were learning because we were willing to invest in what we did not know has made all the difference in the world, right? I operate our mastermind program today literally with skill sets and things I took away from that original investment, right? And now here's the irony, jump forward, when we're out of this COVID mess, you know what I used to do for a living? Jump around on stage like one of those guys at that real estate conference And sometimes I crack myself up and people will be like, dude, you must be in your own head. You're just cracking up. And all I go back to is like, who in this room has never been to one of these events before? And then I go and I sit on their lap and I like make sure that they're really, really well taken care of, right? At the end of the day, it's the who. I wish somebody had taught me the who of who I needed to know. I was investing in the what. I needed to invest in the who. Okay, I needed to invest in the who. So let's talk about who we need to have in our back pockets as we go forth and build our real estate portfolios. Number one, we better have some realtors. We better have some realtors. They're going to help us sell stuff. They're going to help us get data. Wholesalers. If you find a property and you don't know who to get rid of it for you or who can bring you deals, find the wholesalers. You want to find the wholesalers? Go find some speaker or trainer that's doing a seminar on wholesaling. There's your audience. Okay? Private money lenders. The better you have relationships with these private money lenders before you need their money, the better off you're better off. They're better off. You're better off. Right? If you're going to invest in a particular locality, right? Like Lorraine and Dean are up in Monument, Colorado. No, it's somewhere in Colorado, just outside of Denver. Lorraine, what is it? It's going to drive me crazy now.
I'm sorry. We're in Arvada, which is just outside of Denver.
Okay, so they're out there in Arvada, right? If that's where they want to invest, then it's worth going and getting to know the people that run the permit and planning commissions. They are the ones that sign the permits, right? Mortgage brokers, right? Because what happens if we want to flip a property, somebody comes to look at the property and they don't have a mortgage broker? Wouldn't it be really beneficial for me to call Juanita and go, hey, Juanita, I got a potential deal for you. Click, move her over. Right? Huge. Insurance agents, general and subcontractors, right? I know Dean doesn't like to do this, but Dean up there in Arvada, is it Arvada? What is it?
Arvada.
Arvada, like Nevada, but with an R. Arvada. Yeah. Dean is one of the most sought after super high-end painters out in Arvada, right? You start dealing in high-end properties, you need a guy like that that'll pick up your phone call. Okay? Digital marketing. If you don't have somebody that can help you market your properties or your deals or put anything out there that is going to attract those deals to you, then we probably want to have them as well. Garbage removal. Like, you don't know you need somebody in your back pocket that does garbage removal until you need a garbage removal. So let me help you. You need that person or that company on your vendor list ahead of time, right? Invest in a hoarder's house and then figure out how fast you need someone to come get rid of that stuff, okay? And ultimately, you also need some virtual assistants because one thing about the investor game is there's only so much we can do, right? And the busier we get, the better off we are. So Peggy added a couple in there: property managers, inspectors, interior designers, partners, right? Equity partners. This is one that I think a lot of people miss. I think you need to have partners that have bigger chunks of money, right? But then I would also say you want a guy like me. I have a very high risk profile. Peggy and I have talked about this a lot, right? I like fast moving stuff. It is hard for me to think 7, 10, 15 years out, right? But I love making small bridge loans. The last one I did, this was actually somebody in our mastermind program, actually, that's a real estate investor. They called and there was somebody that they were in escrow. They needed a $6,000 gap while the thing was in escrow to pay off some tax lien somewhere. I'm like, I'm in, done. right? I made a really good return for having my money out for 3 weeks. It worked. It was like those little things, but that thing would have fallen out of escrow if they didn't have somebody like me in their back pocket. Okay. On top of that, Legal Shield, great. Look, here's the thing. I will say this about legal service or Legal Shield or prepaid legal or however, you definitely need some legal protection or some legal advice. We got bookkeeper on there as well. You could put landscaper on there. You guys get it. I mean, there's a ton of stuff, right? The other one I would recommend is really focusing down on who are some bird dogs, right? Bird dogs are just people that are out there looking for deals on your behalf in exchange for something, right? Maybe it's a piece of the deal, maybe it's some cash, right? When I go into when I go into a community where I want to invest, one of the first things I do is I take our team, whoever our boots on the ground are, and we this is just an insider little thing. Maybe I'll get in trouble with saying it, but this is just one of the things that we do. We print up business cards with exactly what we're looking for. We go into a community and then we spend some money and we do a lot of Uber and Lyft drives. Okay. And what we do is we essentially pitch the Uber drivers on becoming bird dogs for us. So we say, hey, we're looking for houses that have grass above your waist that looks like the mail hasn't been put in. If you find a house like that, all I need you to do is take this business card, write the address on the back, snap a picture of it and text it to me. And that deal's yours. We have them out doing our bird dogging and looking for us straight away. Uber Eats, Lyft, Uber, florist delivery sales reps, right? So anybody that's out doing delivery services, especially if they're delivering to people's houses, I love having those people in my back pocket, right? Okay, so let's do this. Let's take just a moment, and I want you to take just a minute or so, and I want you to write down the top 5 traits, okay, the top 5 traits of what you believe your ideal client or one of these connections is going to have. Okay, so are they older? Are they younger? Are they delivery? Are they in real estate? Are they new? What types of people or what things are we going to be looking for in these 5 folks or in these 5 traits? Just jot them down, and then if you want to throw a couple of them in the chat or take yourself off mute and share, we'd love that. Younger, okay, fantastic. Money, experience, actively doing deals now. Okay, fantastic, Greg, that's awesome. Gabriella, experience. Okay, awesome. Now, when you guys say experience, I'd like you to get that. I'd like you to get that a little bit deeper. Experience in what? What level of experience, right? Does that mean they are somebody that's done 3 deals? Does that mean somebody that Gabriella works on social media quite a bit, right? So she's saying, okay, influencer connections. What does that mean, right? So Kermit says entrepreneur. Okay, so Kermit, I want you to get a little bit as specific as you can, because entrepreneur or influencer or experience, it's really, really broad. The cleaner and the tighter we can get it, the better. Are they men? Are they women? Do we care? Are they somebody that's done 4 deals or more, under 5 deals? Do they have are they on Facebook? Okay, whatever. Okay, so let's drop just a couple of more inside there. Okay. So they've got, okay, so cool. Okay, let's read some of these. This is awesome. Okay, so Peggy said they're between 40 and 60. They've got W-2 jobs. Excellent. They're savers. They've got an IRA or a 401k, and they want to be passive in their investing. Awesome. Amy says ability to pay, married with kids, real estate investors, and property owners who have tenant concerns and want their assets protected. Ooh, I like that one. I like that one. Minimum mid-level 5 plus positive outcome deals. Not sure what that means. I'm not sure what that means. Experience in real estate in the area that I am gonna step into. So Gabriella, does that mean you want them to have 5 deals under their belt if, for example, you were gonna buy condos?
Since I'm still very new to this, and many people when they're new have deals that don't go well, I would like them to have at least 5 deals that have gone well in whatever I decide to step into, which
Okay.
I'm still exploring.
Okay, awesome. Marcy says have done a minimum of 6 fix and flips, single family resident and up to 4 units. Awesome. Kermit says wanting to enhance their portfolio. Awesome. Jennifer says younger, enthusiastic, resourceful, have fun for investment, and they're brave. Ooh, I like that one. I like that. I like the word brave there. Because on some level, we do have to be. I mean, look, we play a bigger game here in the real estate space than we do in some other spaces. Okay. So now let's combine what we talked about earlier. Remember when I asked you to circle that number on your page about what one new connection would be worth to you, 150,000, 100,000 or whatever. Now I want you to start looking and going, okay, if I were to find these folks based on the criteria that we just did here, do those match? And I'm guessing they do. I'm guessing they do. Okay. So the next question is, we now have a little bit of a profile, right? So Jennifer, I'm going to just pick and choose here. So don't get too nitty gritty here, right? But Jennifer is looking for somebody younger. Marcy is looking for somebody that's done 6 fix and flips. Amy's looking for property owners, and Peggy's looking for W-2 job holders. Okay, so the question really comes down to, or the first question really comes down to, where do these people hang out? Where do they hang out? Okay, and this is one of the most important things of this entire game of connectivity building and connection building. Where do they hang out? Okay, are they hanging out on Meetup? Are they hanging out at BNI, Latip, Team? Are they hanging out at Rotary, right? Peggy is a Rotarian. I think I saw somebody else on here as a Rotarian. I think it was Kermit, if I'm not mistaken. Part of Rotary, right? Gabriella is part of Kiwanis. Bruce Waterman is part of BNI, right? Donna is part of BNI, right? So we want to start to look and go, okay, where do these people actually hang out? And Bruce, if you take me to the next slide, what you're going to find out is that we also need to look at, are these people hanging out on particular social media sites? Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, TikTok, Clubhouse. So I think it was Amy, if I remember right. Let me back this up here a second. Amy. Somebody said that, Jennifer, sorry. Jennifer said younger. Okay. Now, if I'm Jennifer, wave your hands. Or I don't see. Okay, so maybe we'll get you on the next thing, right? Let's see. Is Jennifer on camera? No. Did Jennifer go away? Okay.
I'm here.
Oh, you are. Okay. So Jennifer says younger. So Jennifer, quick question. When you say younger, under what age? Just give me a number.
I think it probably between 28 to 35, that age range.
Okay, awesome. So let's say under 35, right? Oh, there you are. See, I was looking at the wrong thing. There you are. You're right here over on my screen, right? So under 35. So the question is, are people under 35 hanging out on TikTok? Yes, right? Are people under 35 hanging out on Clubhouse, right? Clubhouse is, by the way, a brand new social media platform. If you're not on it yet, it is growing like crazy. So much so that Twitter is now in conversations to buy it for $4 billion. And it's basically a party line from the 90s. Like, if you really think about, for those of us that remember the 90s and you used to pay $10.99 a minute, That's what Clubhouse is for free right now, right? So, but we want to know, are those people hanging out on Clubhouse, right? Your podcast listeners and everybody that learns via audio, they're all on Clubhouse, right? So if your product, good, or service, you can talk, and that's a great way for you to communicate, Clubhouse might be great. If you are, like my best friend, Brandon, he is a real estate investor. He works with people that are looking to invest in multifamily, right? We have him doing everything now on YouTube. 100% of his stuff is going up on YouTube because he believes that his ideal client is a YouTube watcher, okay? So you want to just start asking yourself, where do these folks hang out? That's where we got to hang, right? Now, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where we want to hang out, right? If you're going to say to me, hey, I want to work with people under 20, I'm going to probably say you got to learn Snapchat. And Mike Hyatt's looking at me like, what the hell is a Snapchat? Right? But if you're under 20, like that's where you live. For me personally, I don't get Instagram. I mean, I get it. I look at it all the time, but I just don't get it. It doesn't seem to be where my people tend to hang out. For me personally, most of my people, my tribe, my community are all on Facebook. Okay. Marcy Green's like, why the hell do you go on Facebook? That thing is dumb. I'm going to go hang out on LinkedIn where the real people are, right? And Marcy lives all on LinkedIn. Like if you need anything about LinkedIn, Marcy is your go-to. People ask me about LinkedIn all the time. I'm like, go see Marcy. I don't know anything about LinkedIn. I know how to get posts up there, but I don't know really anything about it. Because it's not my jive, right? I'm kind of I'm not a suit serious kind of guy. My perception doesn't mean it's reality, just means my perception is LinkedIn is filled with a bunch of people that are only there to yammer yammer about stuffy office, the color of carpets in a cubicle. And that's just for me, right? So we want to hang out where they hang out. Now, we do we're gonna do 3 more slides and we'll take our first little break. Okay. So we now have figured out over here, we figured out what the value of one of these top connections were. Some of you were 100,000, some of it was 50,000, some of it was 200,000. Okay. Then we figured out what types of people we want to talk to, what traits they have in common, right? Now we've actually started to think about where they hang out. Okay, so now we've got those components. Does that make sense so far to everybody? Alejandro, give me some boat jazz hands. Okay, perfect. Kermit's got his jazz hands going, excellent. I just want to make sure everybody's hands are working, right? I'm going to sell arthritis pills at some point because everybody's coming out of Zoom. Everyone's going to have arthritis in their hands. So, okay, the next component before we ever go to events is now I want to break down one step further, and that is your business card to cash number. Okay, your business card to cash number. So here is how I want to calculate this. Okay, your business card to cash number is this. How many people will it take for you to have meaningful relationships in order to find that one person that's going to be that deal flow or that connection? And I know these are just guesstimates for now. Jaya, did you have a question? Your hand is raised. Just take yourself off mute and we'll get you. We'll get you. Okay. Once you have that business card to cash number, it's very similar. It's something goes like this. Okay. Let's say that you have out of 100 conversations, you have one person that's going to be your sort of super connection. And at each deal that you do or your lifetime value of that potential customer is 50 grand. Okay, now that's low, especially compared to some of you fancy pantses on here, right? Now we divide these two, and essentially that means that each person or each potential connection that we do is roughly worth $500. Okay? Now I know this is a lot of math, but you real estate investors, you live in the math world, so you should be excited that we're doing math here on a Saturday morning in the month of April, right? So this number, this business cards to cash. So Donna wants me to take a picture of this. Okay. So do you guys see the math of what I'm looking for? You got your $150,000 or $200,000 deal. I want you to know out of how many people that you talk to and are connected to will result in one of those saying yes. Divide those two, and that essentially means that out of 100 people, each conversation is worth $500 as it relates to one $50,000 deal. Does this make sense? Are you guys grasping this? Do you see what I'm talking about? Does this ring a bell? Do you know why I'm asking the same question 14 different ways? Because I'm watching your faces. Here's one way, just a communication little lesson, right? People watch and respond differently. When I say, do you guys see what I'm talking about? I'm watching your faces. All of you visual learners, this is what's happening when I say, do you see this? Oh yeah, I totally see it. He's got it on the board. See, I see it. Right? If I say, are you guys grasping this? All of you that are touchy-feely, like you're just excited that I said grab a pen at some point, you're the ones that have probably 3 journals in front of you. You've got lots of things to touch. You're like, yeah. When I say, does this ring a bell? You are my podcasters. You're probably on Clubhouse. You're nodding your head, right? So when you are talking to potential investors or money people, or even people that you're looking to bring on a deal with, start asking those type of questions and see how they learn. And when you find out how they most likely learn, now we get the opportunity to talk in their particular language.
I don't think she does anything for that.
She does something for that.
Give them like flea and tick treatments, but we don't have ticks or fleas in Vegas.
Greg, I believe you have ticks and fleas in Vegas, but I am going to go ahead and just mute you and let you carry on that conversation. Anybody else? My dad was a veterinarian, so I heard fleas and ticks, and now I'm off to, you know. Tracy, there you go. Okay. Awesome. Now, what I'd like for you guys to do is, can you guys throw your number in that chat? If we get this piece down, you guys, everything else falls into place super fast. Just throw your number in the chat. I promise I don't bite. That costs extra.
I'm just gonna take the bullet right here. Can you just repeat that formula one more time?
Yeah,
I'm not able
absolutely.
to see your screen.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So if we have, let's say we have our earlier connection, a lifetime value of a customer, let's say it's $150,000. Okay. And let's say that I'm pretty sure I need to talk to and connect with and build relationships with 100 people in order to find one person that's going to potentially put me in front of this $150,000 of lifetime value. Okay, I'm just using easy math here, right? So we have 100 people. If I divide those two, it equates to $1,500, which means that each one of these 100 people is actually, if I break it down, is worth $1,500. Does that make sense? I think that was Alejandra. So
Right, so now your question is basically put in our numbers to see what our
yeah,
calculation
so
is.
yeah, so if you said my number is 120,000, but I think I can do that sooner. I think I can do it 1 out of 50. Then you've got this, your number would be $6,000. I'm essentially asking you to artificially place a dollar value on one single connection. Okay. Kermit, I don't know. It is hilarious. However, you're leaning with your digital background. Every time I look over, when you lean your head back past a certain thing, it just looks like you become a completely headless dude. It's hilarious. Every time I look over, I'm like, okay, I don't know what's happened. Kermit went away. Now he's back. Okay. So Tracy says 1 out of 50. So Tracy, where's Tracy? Tracy,
I'm right here. I'm
Awesome.
right here.
Awesome. So Tracy, tell me your original number. Your original number when I asked how much a lifetime value of a customer was. Do you remember?
Probably not, because I'm right now getting the COVID shot. So I probably didn't hear that.
Okay, no worries. Go back and watch the recording. Your shot is very, very important. I just hit my 2 week. I just hit my 2 week after my second shot on Thursday, so I'm super stoked.
Oh.
Okay. So let's just say that Tracy's number. Let's just say that Tracy's number is 100,000 to make it easy. Okay, and she's going to be able to have 1 out of those 50. 1 out of those 50. That means that we're back to 500. That means that each connection she has is worth 500. No, it's 2,000. Is it 2,000? Yeah, it's 2,000. Yeah, it's 2,000. Sorry. Okay. So Peggy says $21,000 per connection. That's about right. For a lot of you, that's going to be right in the pocket. Okay. So the real question is this: when you're showing up to a Zoom meeting, if we know that this number is 21,000, or we know this number is 1,500, or we know this number is 6,000, or we know this number is 2,000, the real question is, are we showing up at these meetings prepared to have $2,000 conversations, or $6,000 conversations, or $500 conversations? Or are we kind of just showing up? And that's the difference between being on purpose and just showing up willy-nilly. A lot of us don't do any of this. And so that we walk into an event and then we're like, okay, well, why is nobody wanting to come to us and do deals? It's because we're not showing up like these are the numbers of level of conversations that we need to be having. Okay, so we're gonna move. We got 2 more slides, and we're gonna take a little break. Okay, so now that we know that number, and let's just use 21,000 because that's what Peggy put in the chat. Or Lorraine said, I don't know if that's 18,000 or 180,000. If it's 180,000, this is even more fun, right?
180,000. That was my original number.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So here's the deal. So let's just talk about when you show up on a Zoom call, right? When you show up on a Zoom, how do you select the right contacts and have the right conversation in a group? Amy, that's what we are spending the rest of the day on. That's an awesome question. The whole thing about today is getting to that number, then starting to deselect people that are not going to match that, and collect and connect with the people that we feel are going to be right inside that pocket. So essentially what we're going to do is we're going to start tweaking the dial about 10% at a bunch of different levers to help us get us closer and closer and closer to nailing into that ballpark, right? So the way I look at it is sort of like the game of bowling, right? You've got a lane, you've got a ball, you've got 10 pins. the goal is that we nail that ball down with the right spin, the right oil on the ball, right oil on the lane, and we get that ball and we knock down 10 pins, right? Well, when I went back and I said, start with a group of mentors and folks, teachers and trainers and mentors and board of directors, that is nothing more than a gutter guard on a bowling lane, right? So Amy, that's a great question. It's just think of bowling and we're just trying to get that ball down and knock into the right people. And that's gonna be easier over time, for sure. Easier over time. Okay. So now we're ready to show up at a Zoom presentation, right? So here are some concepts that you can use straight away, right, to increase the likelihood that you're going to attract a $6,000 conversation or a $1,500 conversation or a $2,000 conversation. Number one, have a professional background. Okay. If you are, for example, a hoarder, right, then you probably want to clear off a little space in your backdrop. Okay. This is exactly what I want you guys to see. Now, again, I come from the movie business, so I have a little bit more particular with this, right? But what you don't see is I have a giant light right here. I've got two computers on a tripod. I've got a giant KinoFlow light back in the back. I've got another giant light right here. I've got a music stand right here with clips. I've got everything is done with clips and double computers and notes and music stands. What you guys don't see is just literally right off. Oh, I'm now even out of the frame, right? So see, I'm right here, right? Over here, I've got a window. And if you really want to get tricked out, if you move your camera like this, just a tiny bit, what ends up happening, is you want to have a little bit of movement in your backdrop. That's a whole nother topic, right? That's not going to look right. So we move that. Did that work better? That works a little better, right? So sometimes you have to be, okay, so you just kind of have to move it depending on where your lights go. Okay. Okay. Oh, thank you, Alejandro. That's awesome. Backdrop. Are you showing up attracting a $6,000 conversation, right? Juanita, like you guys can all see Juanita in the picture there. She got a plain white backdrop. I far prefer that to something that looks super messy. Right? If you're showing up and you're going to have $6,000 conversations, $100,000 conversations, and you're in your car or doing dishes, might be a little rougher. Now, in an environment like this where we're learning, that's not as important as when we are at like a networking event or a real estate investor associator meeting, or we're at a speaker event. Does that make sense, you guys? Okay. Now, check your name. So in an event, if you're not aware of how you can do this, in the upper right corner of your camera, you can change your domain name. Change the name that shows on there. So if, for example, let's see, for example, let's say Gabriella is at an event and she wants people to visit her at gab@gabtalks.com. Okay. All she has to do is go in the upper right corner and hit rename and be able to do that. Okay. So Jenny says you can do free Zoom backgrounds on Canva and put your logo on it. I have one for each of my clients. Absolutely. Here is my only hesitation with these digital backdrops is you need to take a few moments and understand how to make that backdrop actually work for you, right? So if you're using a green screen in the background and it's chroma key, then don't wear green when you're using a green screen, right? If you want to blur your background, you can blur your background. If you want to do, so Jenny has a backdrop and I can see she's got, it says Polaris on it, right? So she's got that. That's a pretty good backdrop, right? I have seen some of these backdrops. We have all been on Zoom calls where the backdrops are so terrible. And I just want to go, wow, you're really showing up to have a $2,000 conversation. And that's what you've decided to show up with as your background. You guys, the competition is so easy when you start looking at this stuff. It's so easy when you just look a little differently. So Alejandra, what you want to do is in the up, when you see your box with the name on it, in the upper, if you scroll over it, you're going to see a thing that says ask to unmute, and you're going to see 3 little buttons. If you click those 3 little buttons, it's going to give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 down. It's going to say rename. You just click rename and you type in whatever you want and it'll show up, right? So I have a client that she does her lead generation on every Zoom. It says text Diva 2 and then a number where she collects leads right on every Zoom that she does. Every single Zoom that she does, she has people that are joining her email list. Okay. So let's say copy and paste the contact information. When I say this, right now, what's happening is we have a lot of folks that are downloading Zoom chats. Okay. So at the end of this thing, you guys can download the Zoom chat. You can download the Zoom chat by just going to the chat, hitting the 3 buttons and downloading that. Right. Well, think about this. I think Peggy probably has one. Gabriella probably has one. A couple of you might already have them. They have already saved their contact information on their computer and they're just going to post it in the chat. So when I say, hey, you guys, if you want to post your contact information in the chat, go ahead and do that. Bunches of people will post that in their chat. You guys can do that too. Super easy. This is what I'm looking for. I invest in real estate, in multifamily. There we go, Peggy. Now, I assure you, Peggy, not just sit and write that. She's got that saved on her computer, copy, pasted it right inside here. So now, when Jennifer at the end of this downloads the chat, Peggy's stuff is right inside there. Peggy is showing up as a pro right now. Bam. Right? Now, if you want to get, there you go. Amy, same thing, right? Amy says for a free appointment for legal forms, contact me at, she gave her email address and her phone number. That's awesome, right? Now, let me take this a half step further. For those of us that have virtual assistants, what some of us do, we download the chat off of every Zoom we're at. And now we have our virtual assistant go out and reach out to all of the people that we just met in chat. So now we have a system or a process that we go, okay, download the chat, all the people that put their stuff in chat. Now we'll start putting them through our follow-up process and our nurture process and start to build out and deepen those relationships right there on the spot. Right? Donna has it right here. Donna Bobana. I don't know why. I have to be able to say that with her name. She's one out of Chicago. So, okay. Let's say check good sound and lighting. Now, here's the final thing. When we're on these Zooms, how many of us enjoy, just raise your hand, if you enjoy watching other people eat while you're on a Zoom? Juanita does not. I can tell by her smile, right? Here's the thing. What happens when people start eating on Zoom? What do we all think? Oh my gosh, take your camera off, quit stuffing your face, or I want some, right? So here's the deal. Just don't eat, just like give up eating for an hour while you're on these Zoom calls, okay? And finally, before we go to the event, before we show up on the Zoom, remember, we've got our numbers. We know where these people hang out. We're finding the events that they're going to hang out. We've got ourselves situated to show up on our event. We only have one more little thing before we attend the event, and that's this. We got to dress the part. We've got to dress the part, right? If you're hanging out on a LinkedIn high-level meeting, you're probably going to want to dress up a little bit. If you're on TikTok or you're on a Zoom, you might not have to dress up as much. I try to dress the part based on what level of conversation I'm going to have. And here's the best part, you guys. We all have the digital mullet. It's Zoom on top, party on the bottom, right? So if you need to wear slippers or your sweatpants or your pajamas, cool, right? We never know. Remember, we're trying to attract this level of caliber of person into our life. With Marcy, don't wear a t-shirt. For me, I got to tell you, I don't work well with people in suits. I don't know if I was scarred as a child, but the idea of a suit jacket like gives me heart palpitations. Right? So that's the scoop. Okay? So here's the deal. I think we should take a 5-minute break. That way it gives us a little chance to stretch our legs a little bit. So what I'm going to do is we will be back in 5 minutes, and we'll just continue on with actually going to the event. Okay? So we're going to go to the event in 5 minutes. So let's come back at 10:41. Okay? 10:41. We'll be back.
Alejandro, do you still need help?
No, I think.
Okay, let's fire this operation back up. So now we're gonna actually go to an event. Okay, so we're gonna go to an event, and at this event, here's just some suggestions to help you show up a little bit more like Oprah. Right. So the way I look at it is, I want to be like Oprah, most powerful woman in the world. She's got a lot of influence. My question is, are we showing up like Oprah? And remember, we're looking for these higher level conversations. So number one, arrive early, right? Arrive early. You know, I run a networking event every Thursday. Okay. It's free for people that are in my space, and every Thursday. And I usually get on, it starts at 3 o'clock. I usually get on about 20 minutes till, and I'm always kind of amazed that most people that show up for this event don't show up until right at 3 o'clock or 1 minute till. But the vast majority of the relationship building and the kibitzing and the gas bagging and the chitter chatter and the real relationships actually start ahead of time. So show up a little bit early, participate, right? The more we participate, the more we are being seen, the more we are engaging, the more other people are going to look at us and go, wow, I want some of that, right? So, you know, and when you're being helpful, you know, it's like Peggy helping out Alejandra in terms of how to get something renamed or whatever, but participate. The more like people see your name in chat, the more that you are participating and adding value. Now, you're going to see where I say a little bit later, no selling, okay? But be of value to the people that are on there. Like, it was so heartening for me to hear you guys helping each other out in terms of how to help get your names redone in the chat, or how to remove the ClickFunnels thing from the bottom of a ClickFunnels thing, right? That's what we're looking for. Keep your camera on as much as possible. We have all been on events where nobody's on with their camera, and then what ends up happening is then they don't understand why nobody wants to do business with them. Well, because they're not even showing their face, right? And again, in an event like this, not as important as if you're showing up at like a RIA meeting and you're really looking to actually build out your network, right? Add value in the chat. You know, I've noticed that Peggy's been really good about adding stuff in the chat. Donna's been really good about adding stuff in the chat. Marcy's been really good about adding stuff in the chat. So when people have questions, especially if the presenter or the speaker isn't making sense, or they need a point clarified, if the speaker is not watching chat, or they don't have somebody watching chat, ask your question in chat. But also, if you see somebody that's asking questions, don't let our fellow entrepreneurs falter. We want to show up and be the ones that we're adding value. Okay, be the greeter. You know, this one is pretty easy. It's like, hey, welcome to the show, welcome to the party, welcome. You know, this is one of the ways that I did this at our Wednesday Sizzler meeting. You have to say Sizzler like that, by the way. But you know, I always like to get there 20 minutes, a half hour early. Someone like Peggy shows up. I'm like, hey, Peggy, welcome to the party. Is this your first time? Hey, this is how kind of the lay of the land works. We all buy our own food. So go get in line, put your stuff down, go get in line. Here's what's going to happen. At noon, At noon, Steve's going to let everybody have a chance to go around the room and talk for a minute. There's going to be a check sheet that goes around. Mark your address down on there, whatever. And be the person that's adding value and shaking hands with people. In a live event, be the one that goes and stands at the door, says, hey, Yvonne, let me bring you in here. Hey, who can I introduce you to? Who are you with? What can I do to help? Events love that because they're usually short-staffed, and it really puts us in a position to have first crack at meeting the amazing people that are going to come hang out with us. Okay. And again, I say no eating primarily because some of us, let me see how I say this politely. Some of us have different levels of what we feel is acceptable eating habits in front of other people. No, did I do an okay job of navigating? Kermit's laughing, so I think I've made my point, right? I think we have all been in environments where you're just like, you know what, this would be a lot better if you would just not be eating, right? So that's what we can do. And when you go to these events, just change your name on Zoom to be whatever. So for example, when I do an event, for example, I'm doing an event next weekend, right? And a lot of our Platinum Inner Circle members will be on that. Well, our Platinum Inner Circle members will come on there and we'll say, hey, if you want to identify yourself as part of our Platinum Inner Circle, we refer to it as PIC, right? P-I-C. Go ahead and change your name to PIC. Bunches of people will change and add PIC into the front. That denotes them as being part of our inner circle. If you're a VIP, you've upgraded to a VIP package, then you put VIP in your chat, and now you've identified as VIP. So you can change that chat to be whatever, not chat, your Zoom name to be whatever you want. Okay. Now, when we're at this live event, this is a very formulaic process. And I say that, let me say, I don't want you to lose sight of we're actually talking about human beings here, even though I'm using fairly mathematical and scientific kind of cut and dry. But when you go to an event, you guys, there's 5 people that I think you ought to talk to at every single event. And I don't care if it's a funeral, a backyard barbecue, a meetup group, a Zoom chat, any of it. I go after the same 5 people to have and build a connection with, especially if they've met my requirements that we designed earlier on. Okay. So here's who the 5 people are, right? Number 1, the speaker. Whoever the speaker is at these events, you guys, let me just let you in on a little behind the scenes secret here. When a speaker shows up at an event, they are usually not part of the group. So they don't know anybody. And I can just tell you from my own experience, pre-COVID, I was doing about 200 events a year. Like, I'm a road warrior. I'm on the road and I'm bouncing from event to event to event to event to event. And I got to tell you, you walk into a room and you don't know anybody in the room, it can feel a little intimidating and really lonely. But if somebody comes up to me and says, oh my gosh, you must be Casey Eberhart, shakes my hand, now I've found an ally. Here's what happens with those allies. Almost all good speakers will reference people in front of the room, right? So I have referenced, for example, I gave Marcy Green a plug from C Green Financial, right? I told you she sells money. Peggy, I know that she matches real estate investors with real estate deals. She's a real estate matchmaker. She matches cash to deals and deals to cash. You make money because the returns go to you. The deals come to her. She marries you together, right? I gave Yvonne a pitch. Those speakers, when we have the microphone, if you give us the opportunity, we have to use examples. That's how we build connections with people in the room as a speaker, right? So if we were here, right? I know that Donna lives in Chicago. I know that she's a sales trainer. You realize that me calling these folks out, they can't do that and get the same level of influence that I can by shouting them out. So an easy way to get to know these speakers and make them feel like rock stars, you guys, outside of Zoom, would be go buy a couple of their books, show up at the event with a couple of their books and say, hey, Juanita, would you do me a favor? I've got a couple of people in my network that I think your book would be awesome for. Would you autograph or sign this book to them? And I'm going to send it to them. I tell you what, that speaker just doesn't even know what to do. We just don't even know what to do. It's like, oh my gosh, somebody took the extra 2 seconds to look me up, buy my book, bring it to me. I don't even care if you actually send the book to the people you have them autographed for. This is about building the relationship with the speaker. Extra bonus points if you do that, right? The organizers. You guys, these organizers are the hardest working people at the event, and they get the least accolades, the least appreciation, and they know everybody in the room. So if, for example, Gabriella and I both want to meet a transformational coach, the best transformational coach on the planet, and we both go into an event. And Gabriella sits and bumbles around, and she's kind of shaking hands. Hey, does anybody know anything about transformation? Does anybody know blah, blah, blah. I go to the organizer, and I'm like, what can I do to help? You need your books carried in? You need registrations? You need help name tags? What do you need? I start building my relationship with those organizers. The organizers, gosh, oh my gosh, you're so amazing. I'm like, awesome. Hey, who do you know that's in this room that's the transformational guru? They are obviously going to say Yvonne, right? YT. So now I go, oh, awesome. Would you introduce me? They walk me up and introduce me to Yvonne. Between Gabriella and I, who wins? You now have an outside party doing a third party introduction. Okay. Next 3 people you want to connect with are the 3 biggest yap jobs in the room, right? Now, if they're smart, they're going to be there early. They're going to probably be the greeter. They're going to probably be sitting there introducing themselves. They're always going to be the ones talking before the event. Instead of calling them influencers, I like the name Yap Job, primarily because I think I'm a Yap Job, right? So get to know Yap Job 1, Yap Job 2, and Yap Job 3. Okay. Next up, when you've got an opportunity to give your 1-minute commercial, here's the deal. When you do your 1-minute commercial, the first thing I'm going to tell you is it's probably smart. It's probably smart to do a 54-second commercial. Why 54 seconds? It's under a minute. Most people are going to go way past. I was on a call yesterday where the presenter or the promoter, the event organizer, gave people 4 minutes to present. 4 minutes. Okay, there were 4 presenters. Not one of them finished in under 4 minutes, which made the promoter go way over on their time. The promoter was kind enough not to cut them off. And at the end of the day, because everybody on the call knew that it was 4 minutes, at about the 5-minute mark, everybody started to check out. They started to roll their eyes, what's going on, turning their cameras off. So number 1, always use less time than what people have committed to, right? You guys all committed to 1 o'clock. I'm going to do my level best. We're going to get out of here before 1 o'clock. And I am guilty often of sometimes going over time in terms of big presentations like that. Peggy's laughing, Yvonne's laughing, going, yes, he is. He's a gas bag. Chitter, chatter, right? But when you're doing your 30-second commercials or your 1-minute commercials, don't go over the time. Okay? And if you're in BNI, for example, and you start clicking a glass with a fork, we all know that the second that happens, you've now been put in that category of, oh, they're not respecting the time. Okay? Now, I'm gonna say that when you do your 30-second commercials, if you try to sell in your tagline, you're gonna be one of those people that just sells. I want to ask you, what would Oprah say? Do you think Oprah's gonna get up there and go, hi, my name's Oprah Winfrey. I own Harpo Studios and I run a talk show that's been in production for over 20 years. And if you'd like to be an audience member in my show, you go to oprahsaudience.com. And by the way, I've got a book club. I own Weight Watchers. I have my own TV channel. I mean, pretty soon you're just like, oh my gosh. But when Oprah shows up, Oprah is in the house, right? So it's okay to not necessarily just sell in your commercial. I actually hate the fact that we call them commercials. My goal, just as a side note, my little goal when I do my stand-up and my introductions is to not even say what I do. Because I'm not looking to, nobody's listening anyways. You guys realize that? I'm sorry, I'm looking at you guys over here. You guys realize nobody's really listening to you. Here's why. Because they are panicked that it's going to come to them and they're going to have to say what they do. And since most people are not prepared, it's a complete, if I may swear one time in this, Yvonne, she's getting ready tonight. No, it's this. But here's the thing. If you just try to sell, you create a, well, I'll save my one potential spark. And now I got Yvonne with her little notebook over here taking production notes, right? If you will take a moment and highlight the organizer or the speaker or one of the yap jobs or somebody that you've already met that you believe would be a very good client for you, you will attract more from that than anything else, right? So let me give an example. I'm just gonna play example mode here. So I rock into this Zoom ahead of time. I go, oh my gosh, I've met an amazing sales trainer, Donna. Donna is out of Chicago. We met, I think she's awesome. But in the back of my head, I'm like, oh, you know what? I really want her in my network. She would be awesome. So now I'm going to private message her. Donna, what website do you like? Hey, what's your website? Hey, what's your hashtag? Whatever. So it comes time to me for my 54-second commercial. This is honestly how most of mine happen. Hey everybody, my name is Casey Eberhart. I am super, super excited to be with you guys today. I am so fired up. And I got to tell you, I know this is supposed to be about me and what I do. That is so irrelevant because I met one of the most amazing people that I am just like, you deserve to know Donna. Donna, raise your hand. Give it a jazz hand over there. She goes by the hashtag AskDSB. It's DSB, right? I don't have my glasses on. Ask DSB. She's a sales manager out of Chicago. If you suck at sales, you've got to get, oh my gosh, I just spit like all over myself. You've got to get with Donna, right? Now, what did I just do? By the way, who's listening to me say that? Is everybody listening to me say that? Not really, but Donna is. Donna is, right? Here's the deal. Donna's listening. That's the key in this. Okay? Okay. So here's what I want to do. I want to get you guys used to asking to connect with people. Okay? So I want to get you guys used to asking to connect with people. Okay, so here's how we're going to do this. We're going to do, and I'm going to ask you to do this because we're going to use these two people later when we use our phone. Okay, so Bruce, can you do breakout rooms? I want to do 4 minutes on the breakout rooms, and I want to do 5 breakout rooms. Okay. So there's going to be 4 or 5 of you in a breakout room. I realize that some people have their cameras off. Some people are not present. Some people are present. So I figure if you get rooms of 5, there's going to be a couple of people in each of the rooms. If there isn't, you're only going to be gone for 4 minutes. So don't get too scared. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. I'd like for you to get. You don't need to know a whole lot about these folks. What I'm asking for you to do is you're going to spend 4 minutes, go around the room, whoever is live in the room, okay? And I'm just going to ask you to get their name and a phone number that you can text to, okay? Because we're going to text these people in a little bit, okay? So Bruce is going to put you into a couple of rooms. If there's nobody in your room, don't worry, just you'll come back in 4 minutes. At 30 seconds left, it's when the room gets to 0, it's going to give you 30 seconds to come back. Okay. And then we're going to see you back in 4 minutes. And I hope you've got at least two people that we can text. If not, don't worry about it. Our exercises later will work. But so Bruce, if you want to do that, that would be awesome. Bruce, if you can hear me, did we get Marcy in a room?
I can hear you. I'm looking.
Let's get Marcy in a room and Jenny in a room. And YT, if you want to go to a room, you can. If you want to stay out of a room, you can do that too.
They've been assigned to a room. They may have not accepted the invitation. $50 seconds left.
Okay, we are coming back. We are coming back. We are coming back. Okay, are we all back? Nope, not yet.
They'll be back in 15 seconds.
Okay.
10.
Here you come back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Okay. So, love that little breakout room. Did you meet some cool people?
The first person that was in my room froze and then disappeared. And then Marcy Green, and I know her. So we've exchanged numbers to text. And I imagine you're about to tell us how to do a video text.
We're going to do that in just a couple of moments. That's very, very good. Very good, Wesley. Wesley's a real estate investor, lives here in Los Angeles, but invests in properties a lot down in Texas, as well as kind of all over the place. So,
And
I
was in
have
a
been
great
without a
room.
picture because I have been sitting in a comfortable chair that has a bad background. So I know what you're talking about. I didn't want to be seen with all my hoarding in the back.
excellent.
And I was in a great room, and we now have 2 more people that will be joining the Wednesday meeting at Steve's.
Oh,
Steve's
fantastic.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Well,
awesome.
That's what you call a networker.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. That's awesome. Okay. So you guys, so really when you come out of an event, really look at it and go, okay, what am I trying to get out of the event? I'm trying to have a couple of people that I can connect with once the event is over. Okay. And so now it starts the process of, okay, the event is over. We've gone, we've listened to everybody. We've taken some notes. We've added some value in the chat. We have connected a couple of people that we want to connect with. Now let's move to the next step. So the event is done, the Zoom is over, and what do you do next? Okay. So I'm going to go down 2 different roads simultaneously. Okay. Road 1 is is asking if we can connect with these folks and create a video together. Okay. Now you can do this with Facebook Live, you can use Loom, you could use Zoom, you could use YouTube, but the conversation usually goes something like this. Hey Juanita, I would love to do a quick 5 to 10 minute interview with you just on camera and be able to show and introduce you to my network of folks. Would that be okay? Would you be game for that? Now, Juanita might say yes, she might say no. I'm looking for the folks that are willing to play that game, right? So I might say, hey, Peggy, I would love to interview you and introduce you to my network. Would that be cool? Would that be okay? If she's in business and she's a player, she's going to say abso-frickin-lutely, right? Now, if people are terrified of the camera, that's a whole nother story. That's okay. If you are one of those folks that is a little nervous about being on camera, you're not super comfortable with it, let me just give you a couple little nuggets here. Number 1, get over it. Simply because at the end of the day, video is how a lot of business gets done. Now, you don't have to be on video. I am not saying that you have to build your business on video. I'm just saying a lot of business gets done. And when you do videos and you get them up on YouTube, here's what's really cool. YouTube is owned by Google, which means that if I do, for example, a video where I interview Mike Hyatt, and I talk about his Amazon business and I talk about his real estate business, right? And I get that up on YouTube, the reality is now Google can pick up some of that video and put that video. And now when people search for Mike Hyatt, the Mike Hyatt, I'm going to be seen. My videos are going to be seen. Right? When I talk about how to do high-end stain matching on a $40 million house, and I interview Dean, and I get that video up on YouTube, I have all those eyeballs coming on me. That's Oprah's formula in play. Think about it. What does Oprah do? She brings on somebody that has a reach. She utilizes their content, right? And then that content gets pushed out and gives us extra exposure. Plus, it makes the other person feel awesome. You get to do blog posts with them, and there's a gazillion things you could do with them. But let's just start with getting a couple of people that we can say, hey, Kathy, can I interview you on Kathy Scaslow, by the way, if you have not connected with her, her camera's off right now, but she runs a really, really cool insurance program that allows you to essentially do what the ultra wealthy do and create a bank for yourself. In fact, I have 2 banks that I've built for myself. I don't spend money on like my car. I borrowed money from myself for my car, and the interest rate is about 0.25%. And I recapture all the interest from that car payment into this mechanism, right? So I would say, Kathy, oh my gosh, this bank on yourself philosophy, I would love to interview you for a couple of moments and introduce you to my network. What did I just do there? I've just built a bond with her like crazy, right? If I interview Marcy Green and we talk about credit reports and the 3 things that you need to do before you ever ask for a loan, I've helped her in her business, okay? So that's one element of video that you can do after your business. The second thing is actually much easier, okay? So I like to start with the hard thing and let's do the easy one next, okay? The easy one is now is the opportunity, and we're gonna actually do this together, okay? So the second thing that you can do is when you take down somebody's phone number and you meet them at a Zoom, right? Now, some of us, just as a little side note here, some of us are writing down phone numbers that you guys are all putting on your names, like Donna Bobana 247 or 240-427-5372, YT 310488. I think it's hers is 1309, if I'm not mistaken. It's cut off a little bit on my deal, right? Jennifer Wong 205-617 *9, right? We're writing those down. Now, here's the cool, this is so easy to do, you guys. And the fact that nobody does it is just, it's gold for you guys. Here's what you do. You pick up your phone afterwards, give yourself 5 minutes to do all of these. You open up your phone and you open up the video section on your phone and you do a very quick video text message to somebody that you just met and you send it to them, okay? And this is so easy to do. This is so easy to do. Don't think too much about it. It can be as simple as, hey, blank, I just met you. You're absolutely awesome. I can't wait for us to get connected. And you send them that text. Now, some people are going to say, well, why would you send a video text? Let me explain the psychology behind it. If I just met Peggy, or I just met Jenny, for example, or I just met Jennifer, this is a better example. I just met Jennifer at this meeting. I think she's absolutely amazing and I want to stay connected to her when we're done. I'm going to take the relationship responsibility on my hands. I am going to seek her out and build that relationship with her, right? So her phone number is, check this out. This is how easy this can be. I go to my camera. Now remember, if you don't know how to do this, go to the YouTube and it will show you how to do this on your camera. Okay, just plug in your phone and say, how do I send a video on your phone, right? So I go to video and check this out. Jennifer, where are you based? Where is area code 205?
Alabama.
Alabama? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay. And you're an investor, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. This is how easy this can be. Jennifer, Casey here. I am so honored and thrilled that you came out and hung out with me at Networking Riches. Don't forget to connect with me on Facebook. I would love to stay connected. If there's anything I can do to help you build your business down there in Alabama, please don't hesitate to reach out. And I'm so grateful for Steve Love to put us in connection. So have an amazing day. Let's go build an investment portfolio together. Ciao for now. It's 24 seconds. 24 seconds. Now, I simply go to my text and I go 205. I'm old. 617. Oh, 999 or quadruple 9. Okay. Then I go in here. I just take that video. Boom. and I send it. Very simple. I just sent that to Jennifer. Jennifer should have that any second now, right? Now, what just happened? Let's break this down of what just actually occurred, okay? Number one, I now have Jennifer in my phone. Number two, when I text Jennifer in follow, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, and I text Jennifer a follow-up message a week from now, and she sees my number come up as 310-345-9019, and she has no idea who the heck I am. She thinks I'm some sort of spam artist. She's now going to open up that phone and see that video. The nanosecond she plays that video, what did I do? I said my name, I said where we met, and I said what I'm actually trying to accomplish. Right? Now, what does that just do for her? It gives her a visual cue of who I am. Right? It gives her an auditory cue who I am. And if I said, hey, you're rad, right? And I just put that, right? Now, look at, she, without me even prompting it, she wrote, hey, Casey, nice to meet you. Now we've got a text thread going back and forth. Am I calling her on the phone? No. Am I sending her long spam messages that she doesn't want to hear? No. Do I give her the ability to bow out of the conversation at any time that she gets busy? Yes. Now I want you to think about, just think about this for a second. If we go back to the early days of this morning and take that number and break down the number of conversations, and now we show up at an event, we pull 5 or 6 people, we send a quick 30-second text to at the end of each of those Zoom meetings. Do you guys see how now all of a sudden building these connections becomes really, really easy as long as you get into a system and a process with it? Yeah? So I think we ought to practice. I mean, no better time now than to practice this little follow-up thing. So here's the deal. You guys all met 2 people, okay? Now, if, by the way, let me go a half step further here. If you don't go to a Zoom, I highly recommend doing text video messages 5 a day, 2 a day, 1 a day, whatever it is, add it into your daily method of operation and watch how fast your network grows. It will blow your minds. It will blow your minds. Okay? Now, because we're all friends here, right? We're all friends here. What I would love to do is I want to just get this, let's just test it and get it done. I mean, you guys all showed up here. Let's just get some stuff done, right? So here's the deal. We're going to take 5 minutes, okay? 5 minutes, and here's what I'm going to ask you to accomplish in those 5 minutes. I just want you to send a couple of text message videos to the people that you met just a few minutes ago. Now, if you knew them and you got their phone number, cool. If you didn't have 2 people, there's plenty of people that are on here that have their phone numbers on here. Okay. And by the way, if they don't want their phone numbers written down and connected with, they're not going to put them in the Zoom chat. Do you guys follow that? Right? So if Jennifer didn't want people connecting with her, she wouldn't put her phone number in there. If Donna didn't want her to be connected with, she wouldn't have put it front and center. She actually just changed it to put it in front of her hashtag. That's how bad she is begging people to connect with her, right? Now, if you don't have anybody on the call that you met, that's cool. Just take a couple of people. In your chat and just go like this. Stop. Do a quick message to them. Okay. But what I'm going to do is we're going to put 5 minutes. We're going to put 5 minutes on the clock. Okay. I'm just going to throw myself on mute so you guys have 5 minutes of undistracted time. And I just want you to do 5 minutes of video texting to people. And let's just see what we can accomplish in 5 minutes. You saw that it was only 25 seconds. So if you get 2, that's awesome. So I will be back on in 5 minutes. So 11:28. Okay, and go. So cool. So quick question for you. Did anybody melt? Did anybody melt? Did anybody burst into flames? Okay, good. Donna says no on the melting. We like that. No on the melting. Okay, awesome. So anybody want to share? Did that help? Was that interesting? Was it not interesting? Did you get a response back? Were you able to do it? Anybody want to share? Just take yourself off mute if you do. Going. Okay, then we're just gonna keep rocking. What I am gonna be interested to see is in the next few minutes, if you actually get some responses back from some of those folks that you did. Did anybody do more than 2? I'm just looking at all you camera folks. Okay, cool. Well, we're gonna keep on rocking on. Okay, so now we got a little bit of a structure going, right? So now we know what we can do when we are done after the event, right? Quick, easy thing. I try to do 4 or 5 of those video text messages after an event. And then I like to do every day, do 3 or 4. And I'll just give you guys one thing I started doing before COVID happened. I had a stack of business cards. I don't know about anybody else, if anybody else has ever had this thing, but there's a stack of business cards of all these people I want to stay in touch with, but I'm going to forget. Right? So I just roped a rubber band around those business cards. They sit in my truck. And every time I get out of the car or I pull into a parking lot, I just text the person that's on the top. So whoever's on the top, I go, oh, hey, Jennifer, what's going on? Hey, Kathy, what's going on? Hey, Shari, what's happening? It's great to meet you. It's great to get connected. Hope you're doing well. I'm not trying to sell anything. I'm just depositing into our relationship bank account. I'm creating some social currency between the two of us, right? Jennifer and I are already texting back and forth, right? We're going to develop a really cool relationship because I took the time to write down her phone number and send her a 24-second text message. Here's the good news for all of you investors, all of us. 99.9999999 with a line over it % of people won't do any of this. They will continue to show up at events. They will continue to scramble and have a harder time finding deals or attracting deals versus the few people that will take this next step. Okay. Yeah, I use the categorization of business cards all the time. If they are people that I don't know and don't know me, they go in the trash. If they're people that I want to do business with, they go on, they keep in the stack. But if you've got a stack, by the way, of 5,000 business cards, you got your shoebox and you're looking for a project before we get out of COVID, here's what you do. Go through them one by one. Can you tell me where you met this person and anything about them? If not, trash it. If you call them and they don't call you back or they wouldn't know who the heck you are, trash it. Get this down to a deep set of connections and let those relationships blossom. Okay? So let's fire up next component. Next component. Okay? So, and guys, we'll take a break. We'll take a break in probably about 20 minutes or so. We'll take another break for about 5 minutes. And then we only have one more section after that. And we'll be we should be wrapped out of here before 1 o'clock, which would be awesome. Okay. So if I can have you stick with me for this section, like I said, we'll break in 15, 20 minutes or so. Okay. Okay. Next up, here's the deal. We want to take those contacts and remember, we're moving them through that relationship marketing funnel, right? So with that, we're going to now move some of these contacts into relationships. And so we're back to this slide here where we are taking these contacts and we're moving them prospects, clients, and moving them up to referral partners. So now we're going to really deepen and build the relationship with these folks. Okay. So let's go through and what can we do? How are some of those things? What are some of those things that we can actually do? Number one, right? We can increase those contacts and build relationships out of those contacts. Okay. So Bruce, can you throw the next slide up, boss? There we go. Awesome. It's on purpose and with intention to increase those number of contacts and build those friendships. We want to do everything with making them feel important, right? Do you feel like there are certain people on this call that I'm making feel important? Absolutely. You should. I hope you do. If not, I'm not practicing what I preach here. But I'm always trying to figure out ways to make people feel important, right? So when somebody, for example, a friend or a relationship or a client, for example, says on their Facebook page, hey, I just launched a new product on Amazon, right? And I see that on their Facebook page. At the very least, I'm going to share that to my Facebook wall. More often than not, I'm actually going to go buy it. Do I need it? No. But it's worth the few bucks to invest in a potential friendship or invest in a potential relationship with an entrepreneur. I'll buy their product on Amazon and then I'll leave them a review. And then usually if I don't want the product, I'll give their product away as a gift. I might send it back to them, or worst case, I'll just chuck it up on eBay and recoup a little bit of it if I need to. Okay. Give them private access, right? I mean, here's the deal. I'm going to be really fairly transparent here, but very few people have private access to me if they're not part of our Platinum Inner Circle, right? So I'm just not one that has the time. Honestly, it's a time thing of lots of chit chat going on. So I've had to put a throttle down a little bit and say, look, as long as you're part of our Platinum Inner Circle, then you have much more access to me. Okay. Next up, names on a whiteboard. What you guys can't see is over here, I have a giant 5 foot by 10 foot. It's massive, a giant whiteboard. And on that whiteboard, and by the way, since we're all in real estate here, there's 2 ways to put a whiteboard up on your office wall. Number one, go to an office supply store and pay for a whiteboard, which is heinously expensive, right? Or number two, the easy way, go buy a backing of a shower or a bathtub backing that's the white Formica. It's a dry erase board. They just don't label it that. The one I have, I screwed into the wall. It's 5 foot by 10 foot. It works brilliantly. And I think it was like $7. Okay. But put that on. And by the way, your shower also works as a dry erase board. Your bathroom mirrors also work as dry erase boards. You can go even get a dry erase board that's it's like this. This is just from Staples, a couple $100, right? But what you want to be able to do is keep your names of your top influencers or the top people that you're building those relationships with on a giant erase board, right? I have one section that I have a group of people that I desperately want in our Platinum Inner Circle, right? There's 4 names up there. Those are people that I have that in my little world, I know they're close to being ready, right? I have a whole nother list of people that I want to play with. And then there's a whole nother group of people that are influencers that I want to stay connected with and touch base with, right? So names on a whiteboard. Next up, pass leads like crazy, right? The one thing I've watched in the real estate space that I do not understand, and I will be totally honest with you guys, I don't understand it, is that when somebody says, oh, I invest, say, in tax lien certificates, then they only talk about tax lien certificates and anything else is out of the equation. It's the kiss of death for us in the real estate game. You want to have access to so many people that anybody that has a real estate issue can come to you and say, hey, Juanita, I have this issue. Hey, Shari, I have this issue. Hey, Jennifer, I have this issue. And you're the one that has the ability to solve it. And that person may become a lead and you want to pass those leads like crazy. Okay. So I think the thing, if you ask most of my friends and people I'm around, what they will say is that dude passes more leads than anybody I know. And I am like making introductions. I try to introduce at least 3 or 4 people to each other every single day. Why? Because if I introduce, say, Jennifer and Shanta together, and they go off and do 5 or 6 or 10 or 20, 30, 40, 50, 200 deals together, who's going to always be the one credited for introducing them? This one, right? That's really important, especially when you go into another event and those two are in a room. Now, all of a sudden, it's like, you got to know that guy. You got to know Oprah. Oprah shows up. You just know because she's in the room. Her presence, her beingness is so attractive in terms of charismatic and compelling. You're compelled to just go be in her space. It's really what I'm looking for each of you to be able to do, is be the Oprah in your little space. Okay. Next up, here's the deal. When people screw you over or screw friends over or make bad real estate deals and they reveal themselves, you guys, here's the deal. They will reveal themselves on the upside and potentially on the downside if you let them. Right? I have folks that I used to pass tons and tons of leads to, and they burned a couple of my people in my network. There are too many people that are awesome and amazing that stand for integrity and stand for authenticity and stand for amazing souls, that the people that reveal themselves to not be that, I'm not willing to risk my reputation for that. If anybody else is, I'm sorry, maybe that's a different conversation, but let people reveal themselves. And at the end of the day, here's the thing. There are two types of people in this game. There are buoys and there are anchors, right? Our job at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, is to hold on to the buoys and release the anchors. Okay? Is to hold on to the buoy and to release the anchors. And sometimes those anchors are spouses, boyfriends, girlfriends, cousins, contractors, pastors, coaches. Those same people can also be buoys, right? Yvonne is one of my buoys. Literally last night I called Yvonne. I needed her to be a buoy, right? I called Yvonne. We got such good communication going. I started rattling on about my little petty issue. And you know what she just did? Some of you are going to crack up because you know the deal with this. She just went, okay, do you want my advice? I'm like, yep. She goes, stop it. And that was it. That was it. I pretty much got to stop it and a hang up. But that's what I needed. That's when you know that you've got a buoy. That's when you know you've got a buoy. Right? So you guys, this is the point. We got about 10 minutes before I want to take a break, and then we're going to finish up, just finishing up with follow-up. Would you guys be okay if I took 10 minutes and kind of shared with you a little bit of a program that I put together for you guys if you want to play? It'll only take a couple of minutes. You really don't have a choice, so just nod and say yes, because we're going to do it no matter what. Okay, so here's the deal. I run a group called the Platinum Inner Circle. It's a business coaching training mastermind program. It's a year-long deal, and it's a really big deal. It's made up of, we have about 100 members in there, and I would say the vast majority of them are all. There's a lot of folks in the real estate space that are in there, right? But I want to do something. I told Steve that I wanted to try something, and one of the reasons why Steve invited me on to speak with you guys today is I wanted to do something very specific for our folks that are in real estate. And so because of that, Steve said, well, hey, would you be okay maybe inviting our members to participate in this as well? And I was like, sure, I'd love to. So I put together, I'm going to tell you, we've never done this. Our Platinum Inner Circle members that are on here today are going to look at this and go, what is he even talking about? Right? I'm going to share with you a 90-day kind of taste of working together. Okay. And I've got several people on here that are part of our Platinum Inner Circle. I have not teased this out. I have not asked them if they would share. I've not coached any of them to say anything. We keep our members completely private unless they self-identify. There are several of them on here. And I'm just wondering if anybody that's part of our Platinum Inner Circle would want to take 30 seconds to a minute and just share anything about what it's like working inside the context of Platinum Inner Circle or working with Yvonne and I, and how it's helped in building out your network. Anybody want to share? Peggy, that's awesome because I actually have your slide up in case I came prepared. If nobody said anything, I've got 2 slides of people to share with. So, Peggy.
Yes. What are you bribing me to say today? No,
Yeah,
so,
exactly. It's her invoice is
I
in
met
mail.
I met Casey about 7 years ago at a real estate meeting, actually, and he talked about networking riches. I joined his networking riches, and through that, I ended up joining Mastermind. And I was out looking for industrial parks, and I was also looking for a partner because I didn't want to do it by myself. I wanted somebody to give me feedback, like, is this a good deal? Are we working with the right people? Da 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 da. I ended up meeting 3 or 4 different people, but they took me into a different direction. I'm like, this isn't working. And so one day we sat down in our Platinum Inner Circle, and I got on the throne and they started asking me questions. And I told them how I had been fundraising for, I don't know, about 20 years for the fun of it, helping my friends get into some good deals with some great 15% returns. And they're like, well, why don't you do that now? And I'm like, oh, you could get paid? I'm laughing because it just never occurred to me that I could get paid for doing this. I'm like, well, I'm good at it. Let me give it a try. So there I was 7 years ago. Now, last year, we tripled what we had done the previous year. So it grows a little every year. And this year, I know you want to show my slide. This year, we have already booked for the first quarter. We booked over what we netted last year. I would say our expenses were a little over 1/3 of the income. And another little story. I was on the family office yesterday. I'm a member of family office group, Richard Wilson's, and it was about fundraising, how to raise capital. And so I had to get off the call because I was raising capital with a client, and he committed to a $75,000 commitment to one of their investments. So I had to leave capital raising to capital raise. I just kind of laughed about it. It was great. So I can't tell you, what I can tell you is our company would not be where it is today without the support of this group. And YT and all the accountability that we've had over the years, that's the #1 reason I joined, was for accountability, because I know I will keep my word to somebody else. And like most people, I'm probably not that good at keeping my word to myself. So it's just been a great program. I could talk all day about it, so I'll be quiet now. Thank you very much for letting me share.
Awesome. Thank you, Peggy. And Peggy has been with me and us since literally day one. There are 3, I think we have 3 or 4 members that have been with us literally for the past 7 years since the day we started. And Peggy, it's been an absolute honor to be in your space and watch what you've been able to create. It's awesome. It's awesome. Anybody else that's a current Platinum Inner Circle member that wants to share?
Casey, can you hear? Oh,
we can. Hey, Juanita, how are you?
I'm good, but there's work being done in the building that I'm at, so I'm going to talk really quickly.
That works.
I'm a new PIC member. I've only been in it since January. I'm somebody who's just starting a business. And like Peggy, the reason I joined was for accountability. So if you're somebody who's just trying to start your business, doesn't know where to go, scared of tech stuff, has been putting your feet in the quicksand for forever, this is definitely the spot. I'm already learning ClickFunnels now, Casey. I'm about to do my entity and my EIN number. I have like names. I'm putting up a page. Like, I'm doing videos. I can't stand doing videos because I really don't want anybody to know me. They can know my business, not me. But so if you really want to move your business forward, this is the place. This is the group. Everybody here is brilliant in their own way. They share, they help. So I'm telling you, PIC is the place for you.
Oh, Juanita, thank you. That was very sweet. Thank you. I love that. Oh, it just gets me. I'm looking at Yvonne over here because I'm sure she knows that what I'm doing is I don't get emotional too often, but this is the thing where I like this is just really awesome to hear people's stories. So awesome, Juanita. Thank you. And it's absolutely awesome to have you part of us. It's awesome. Anybody else? Okay. So, I have a couple of slides. One is from Peggy. This is a slide that I just asked Peggy if I could share her latest text. Now, she obviously gave us a little bit more of an update than even her text. So her text is a little out of date, but this is a text I received from Peggy just a couple of days ago, actually. And I asked her if I had permission to put it on a slide. And so I'm going to just read it. Hey, gotta brag. Last year we grossed 172K. As of March 31st, we booked 117, only 55 to meet last year's number, but we've already hit that, as you just heard her say, which just makes me like tear up with excitement and joy. This gets me out of bed every morning. I've moved our booking goal from 400 grand to a mill slap for 2021. And then she gave it a little whoop whoop. So awesome, Peggy. Next up is my friend Luis. Luis has been with Platinum Inner Circle for just over 2 years, or just maybe it was a year and change actually. And I want to read this to you because I want you to hear the power. Luis is based down in Houston, Texas. He came to a real estate meetup where I was speaking at, joined Platinum Inner Circle pretty much right on the spot. And this guy is up to some really, really big stuff. So he said, hey, before I started working with Casey, I didn't think I needed a team, which is hugely, we hear that a lot, right? I thought I could do everything myself. Now I realize that having the right team in place frees you up to concentrate on the higher level stuff like guiding my business to higher goals. Since then, I have joined 2 other mastermind groups and I've made connections to grow my business. He also added 5 units to his rental portfolio and has wholesaled 12 other units. And by the way, before PIC, he had never done a wholesale deal, by the way. Since I started working with Casey, I'm able to connect with more equity partners so that I can help other people achieve the financial goals of investing together with me. I've also developed 3 other streams of income since I started working with Casey's team. You know, one of the things is I would love to be able to give you the disclaimer that those results are not typical, but I got to tell you, those results are typical. You know, we are really good about helping people craft and create a life of having it all, right? Or literally our slogan, our tagline, or whatever you want to call it is from vision to profit, having it all. So we really create an opening and an opportunity for you to flow work, family, church, community, whatever those things that occupy your space. We help create a life of having it all. And that's really what we really take a stand for. We really take a stand for the growth and the success and the beingness of our Platinum Inner Circle clientele. So here's what I did. Now, again, current Platinum Inner Circle members, even those of you that are on here that did not share, I am going to tell you that you are already part of what I'm about to share. So this is something we have not done. You may ask Peggy. She will tell you, she has been with me for 7 years. She will tell you that this is not something I've ever done. But this is what we've done. We have created a 90-day hyper-intensive connection boot camp, essentially, for the real estate space. And so we're going to invite our current Platinum Inner Circle members that are in the real estate space to play along. You guys on here are seeing this for the very, very first time. And we're going to have a blast for it's essentially a super 90-day run. And it is the Connect Hyperdrive Intensive, CHI for short. Okay. So here's what this is going to include. This is going to be you and I on a journey, an in-depth intensive journey for 90 days. So we're going to go step by step in helping you build out your real estate network, and that all of those connectivity points, all of those connection points. And here's why. When I go back and I look at what numbers you guys gave me, the 150,000, the 200,000, the 50,000, the 90,000, the 2 million, at the end of the day, here's the question. What is it going to take for you to start down that journey, right? Let's just get you started on that journey, because what does your life look like with 1 more connection, 10 more connections, 100 more connections? That's what we're going to really focus down on and concentrate on during this hyperdrive intensive. Okay, so it's going to be 90 days. It's going to be step by step. Okay, you're going to have accountability in there, meaning you're going to hold yourself accountable to me. You're going to hold yourself accountable to another partner inside of this program. So we are going to have accountability inside of there. We're going to get together every 2 weeks. Okay, every 2 weeks over the next 3 months, we're going to have a Zoom group where we're going to get together and we're going to talk about accountability. We're going to talk progress. We're going to talk about exactly how this process works. And we're going to do this in lockstep with each other. Okay. And you're going to have a bunch of other investors on this as well. You know, and by the way, you guys, Steve Love, I think Steve has actually been part of our Platinum Inner Circle since day 1 as well. If not, certainly for over 5 years, Steve has been with us. If you live in Southern California and you are in the real estate space, I would pretty much tell you that almost every guru has kind of come through this program, right? So if you know who Robert Orfino is out of Mr. Texas Real Estate, he's got now a nationally syndicated radio show. They have over 400 units that they manage. They've run an entire Airbnb property. He started right here with a program kind of just like this, right inside my space. And now he's down in Houston. Okay. So that is going to be $1,997. So that's going to be component number 1. Okay. Now you guys all know we got to add some bonuses. So let's doll this up and add some bonuses. So bonus number 1 is we are going to give you access to our Platinum Inner Circle. Now there are going to be some elements that the Platinum Inner Circle members have that are not going to be part of this program, but we're going to give you access to Platinum Inner Circle for 90 days. Okay, you're going to learn about our 5 pillars of business training. You're going to understand kind of the components that we talk and train about, where we sit at the intersection of transactional and transformational business. Okay, we're going to teach you the way we train goal setting in our Platinum Inner Circle member. You're going to have a weekly accountability call. You're going to have a monthly mastermind group, which means you get to come participate in our monthly pick meeting. Okay. And you're going to have VIP access to our next immersive workshop. Okay. So that is number 1, that quarterly value. So you're going to have 3 months of that. So 90 days. Okay. So that's number 1. Number 2, when I used to jump around on stage and sell, what I used to sell was a course that I did called 147 Ways to Generate Leads, ... how to have more leads than time. Now, I'm going to just be really transparent with you guys. I used to stand on stage and sell this same program for $2,000. Okay. It was $2,000. The way a speaker, just as a transparent way, is that you can always kind of judge a course by how many people ask for a refund. Okay, so if you got a refund rate where about 10% or under are asking for a refund, that's a pretty good course. I can tell you that I have sold no less than 50,000 copies of this over the last, I don't know, 6 or 7 years. I've never been given even a single request for a refund. Okay, which means that it's dang good. Okay, and the reason it's dang good is because I got so sick of clients telling me they didn't know how to generate leads for their business that I compiled every possible way I could come up with to generate leads. I scoured the internet. I scoured the top lead generating people on the planet. I talked to high-level investors, and I put them all in one. It's literally like 8 hours, you guys, but it's in video, small video, audio files. Okay, so you're going to get that as bonus number 2. Bonus number 3 is something that I don't like doing, but because it's real estate, I am going to make an exception because I love real estate and I want to really spend some time with you one-on-one to show you and grow and lay out a plan and a framework for you to actually grow your network. Okay, so here's how this is going to work. You and I are going to get on and we're going to have a couple hour conversation. I'm not going to put a limit on it because this is about you. But you and I are going to start by having a conversation where we're going to sketch out a game plan, and then we're going to lay you right inside the CHI program. And I am confident that at the end of that 90 days, you guys, you're going to be so well equipped to go out there and grow your network. It's not even going to be funny. Okay. Now, all of our current Platinum Inner Circle members are going to be part of this group as well. And I have to tell you, if you are not part of our Platinum group and you participate in this, I can guarantee you, you are going to meet some of the coolest, best real estate people that you could ever meet inside of this program. Okay. So here's how this is going to work. If we put all those together, it works like this. You're going to have the expand the business connections overview. Okay. So you're going to have the CHI, the intensive. You're going to have the 90 days access to our inner circle. You're going to get the copy of 147 ways to generate leads. And you're going to have a one-on-one sort of VIP couple of hours with me, really laying out and structuring out your business. The value of that, I believe, is way higher than 6741, but because we had to put something on the slide, that's what we put on the slide. Before I say the next thing, I want to just ask you this. When you go back and tell me what number one new connection has as a lifetime value of a customer, I want you to ask yourself this question. What do I have to invest in order to achieve what I'm trying to achieve, right? And I go back to my $90,000 in investment in coursework in the beginning. Best $90,000 I ever invested because it was in myself, right? So here's how we did this. We just made it stupid simple for everybody to participate. So you can have all of that for $997, okay? So it's a one-time $997, super easy to do. We'll be in touch and we'll get everything done and connected for you. And all you have to do is just head over to steveandcasey.club, okay? steveandcasey.club, okay? So what I want to do is, I'm guessing that at this point, you've got one of two things. You're either going, oh my gosh, this is awesome, I'm in, or you're not. It's okay. I'm not a pressure guy. You're not going to get me browbeating you. I want you to play. I want to help you in the same way that we've helped Peggy, that we've helped many of our other Platinum Inner Circle members, and helped many people in that real estate group grow their real estate portfolio. Okay, so we're going to take a quick 5-minute break, allow you guys to go over there to steveandcasey.club. And could Bruce or someone, if one of you guys could just grab that domain and throw it in the chat, that would be awesome. We're going to take a 5-minute break. We'll come back. For those of you who want to participate, you're going to go to steveandcasey.club. Okay. And when we come back, so hang on a second, I'll just. Okay, Bruce just put it in there. So you can just click on that link and go get yourself registered. steveandcasey.club. If you are part of our current Platinum Inner Circle members, please do not do that. You're already enrolled. Okay. For the rest of you, let's take a quick 5-minute break. Go grab your copy of that. Come back, and then all we have to do, you guys, is do the follow-up sequence, and we're good to go. And we'll be rocked out of here. We'll be out of here. We're gonna try to make it out of here by 12:30. Okay. So head over to steveandcasey.club, and I'll see you guys in 5 minutes at 12:07. Okay. You guys can hear me, right? Right? Okay. Awesome. Okay. I like to just get stuff done here, even when we do these little workshops. So here's what I like to do. I'd like to take another couple of minutes, and right before we do follow up, let's just do a very quick video text. So just put yourself on mute You can do the second person that you met in that group, or somebody just in your network. Okay. So let's just take, we don't even need 5 minutes. Let's just take 2 minutes. Let's just take a couple of minutes and send out a video text message to someone. If you met them here or they're in your real estate space, that's perfect. Hey, Steve. Hey, I just want to say this has been awesome. I'm having so much fun. I so appreciate you inviting me to have a chat with these folks. This is awesome. I'm having a great time. What a great, great group. So look, you're awesome. I hope you're having fun at Grant's event, and I will talk to you soon. Ciao. Loves to you and Robin. Okay, ciao. Okay. So next up, we only have one little section. So we're going to try to, I think we can get through this in like the next 20 minutes, you guys. So fortunes in the follow-up. We all know that there is usually room for improvement in our follow-up. Okay. So we're going to kind of spend a little bit of time. If you want to take pictures of the next few slides, you're more than welcome to. I think it might be able to help. So here's the deal. For every month you don't have contact with a client or prospect, you lose about 10% of your influence. Okay. So essentially what that means is, if I want to connect with Bruce Waterman and he and I met today and sent him a couple of text messages back and forth, if I don't talk to him for the next year, we pretty much go back to being strangers. It's one of the reasons why I keep a list of people to text message, as well as in my car, that stack of business cards, so that I can always continuously keep track and keep in contact and keep connected with as many people as humanly possible. Okay. Now I can do this on Facebook Messenger, on text message, on email, all those kind of things. So the next slide up here is really, in my opinion, the most powerful slide of the whole deal. And that's basically this. Most connections and deals are made after 12 times of connecting with people, and most people don't talk to people twice. Like if you really strip away this entire slide, 50% never follow up, 80% of business is done on the 5th to the 12th contact. Everything else in the middle basically says people that don't do it don't get the deals, right? So if you're not good at this and you're not in the habit of it, having someone that's holding you accountable and making yourself count-onable is hugely important. And that's why we put together our Hyperdrive Intensive for you guys, okay? So remember, just a few hours ago, I started by saying that networking was a system, and a system that allows you to save yourself some time, energy, and money, okay? So I wrote down several ways for you to actually stay in touch with folks, and we'll just throw them up here and we'll go through them. Number one, you can text them. Number two, send them a nice to meet you greeting card, right? So often we have lost the art of human connection through the mailbox. I will say I try to dominate my customers and my clients and my prospects' mailbox. So you can use greeting cards to do that. You could send an email, have a cut and paste email. You could pick up the phone. Turns out that these devices, if the right sequence of buttons is touched, it will actually connect you to a live human being, right? So you could make a phone call, right? Magazine article. This is one of my favorite easy things to do. I'm going to sneeze. Hey, okay. One thing you could do is go grab a couple of real estate magazines When you're done reading them, simply cut the magazine articles out, fold them up, put them in the mail, and send them off to people that are in your network. Okay, right? Now, I don't mean sell in that. I just mean, remember, we're about building connections and building leads and relationships, right? So if you are in the real estate space, go subscribe to Mortgage Today, Real Estate Today. Get some of those magazines to your house. Read them, of course, so you can learn. But then when you're done, go grab a razor blade, cut the articles out. While you're watching Dancing with the Stars, fold them up, put a little note that says, hey, Juanita, just thinking of you. Hey, Peggy, just thinking of you. Hey, Lorraine, just thinking of you. Hey, Bruce, just thinking of you. Hey, Marcy, just thinking of you. Hey, Kathy, just thinking of you. Hey, Joanna, just thinking of you. Hey, Jennifer, just thinking of you. And throw those in the mail. You guys, the response is unbelievable. Think about how you will feel when you get something in the mail from somebody that you met at a networking event that they were thinking of you. What happens the next time you go back to that networking event? All these people are going to be talking about how awesome you are, right? That's how we really start to build this out, okay? Connect with them on social media. If you and I aren't connected on social media, please send me a friend request on Facebook. It's Casey D. Eberhart on Facebook, okay? Promote on social media. I talked a little bit about this earlier. But for example, Peggy does a real estate show. I think it's on Tuesdays. I might be wrong on the day, but she does a show. I could promote that on Facebook on her behalf. Somebody does a golf tournament, promote it on social media. Somebody has a program that they're promoting, promote it on social media. Somebody does an event, right? If you're friends of mine on Facebook, for example, starting on Monday, you're going to see me do a huge push for my event next weekend, right? There are going to be some people that will share that, right? Then I can go back and go, oh my gosh, who shared that? That's awesome, right? Passive referral, we talked about that one already. If you're a little bit more inclined and you need some content for your website, write a blog post on them. You know, take Steve Love and write a blog post on how amazing this dude is, right? What happens is now you put that up and all of a sudden people start seeing who Steve Love is. Now we basically build that relationship even further, you know, right? And a small gift. It doesn't need to be some big whole ordeal. It doesn't need to be some big whole ordeal. It just needs to be, it doesn't need to be, that was Steve Love responding to my text message I sent him, right? So you could send somebody a small gift. I'll tell you one of the easiest things to do, you guys, again, let's think about them when we get out of COVID. If you know that Wesley Harris loves Starbucks coffee, go grab him a Starbucks coffee, drop it off at his house or drop it off at his office, right? The number of coffees I drive to real estate meetings and real estate meetup groups and networking events, like I show up with a plate of coffee, or I'll walk into an escrow company or title or a realtor where I know them. I'll walk in and go, hey, Wendy, here's a coffee. And then I leave. I don't need to stay there, but I just gave her a $5 gift. I know she's going to remember me top mind, right? I use a company called Mailbox Power. You can create a small gifts that are personalized and send them out in the mail. Like, this is about doing all this stuff to deepen and build in those deep connections and relationships with folks, okay? Now, I have to tell you, as part of our hyper-intensive drive that we're going to do, our 90-day run together, in that 90 days, we're going to be putting a lot of these things right into real-time practical process, right? And here's what I know: if I keep it in the game, you'll do it, right? Like, I'm watching Marcy do text messages right now. I'm so giddy, I don't even know what to do with myself right now, right? If I left it on our own devices, I don't know if it'd get done. Here, I'm like, Lou, let's go, let's get her done. And she's getting it done. That's what we're gonna do together, okay? Most importantly, we talked a little bit about it, thank you cards. If you are not dominating somebody's mailbox, somebody else is. And what I love about the greeting cards that I particularly send out is I put people's first names on the outside of a card. You guys, the number of people that post about stuff I send them in the mail on social media is incredible, right? And same with our clients. So we're going to teach part of that process in here. But if you don't, that's cool. Use a service or go to Staples and get some thank you cards. But look, nothing is going to outwit or outbeat somebody getting something in the mail from you telling them how awesome you make them feel. Like, that's super, super cool. Okay. So look, we're sort of coming to the end of this thing, right? We have done a lot together this morning since 9 o'clock. I really wanted to put this slide up here primarily so if you didn't take a picture of it before, this encapsulates a lot of what we really talked about and brings this all together in this one slide. So if you want to take that, take a picture of that, you can, so you have it with you. You can put it on your social media, you can put it on your phone, you can make it your screensaver, or you could just throw it in the trash, right? It doesn't really matter. But I really wanted to set this up here, okay? So look, the end is near. We're wrapping this up. I knew we were going to be out of here by 1 o'clock. I told you we're going to be out of here by 1 o'clock. I have just a couple of things I want to do, and you guys will be rocked out here. So the first thing I want to just ask is, did anybody take away something as a golden nugget that you want to share with the group? I put this slide up here. I want to open this up, and if you took something away, or you saw something for the first time, or you had some experience, or you got a response back from your text message, I'd love to hear from just a couple of you, any golden moments that you took away from today. You just have to take yourself off mute.
Hey, Stacy. It's Juanita.
Hey, Juanita.
For me, it was just what you said about the if you don't keep in contact with somebody, like if you don't talk to them within a month, that you lose your whatever.
Your influence.
Yeah, your influence. And I've with COVID, I realized that people that I hadn't spoken to, and then I reconnected with them, and some people are like, "Oh my God, how are you doing? It's so good to hear from you." Other people are like, "Crickets." So it really is true. So thank you for reminding me.
Absolutely. Great point, Juanita. Anybody else have anything they took away that was new for them, that they thought was valuable? This is a quiet group. I think everybody's just getting hungry. I'll give you, here's your, yeah, Peggy.
I always have something to say.
I love it. But that's why, Peggy, what I love about you is your willingness to always participate. And by participating, it's how we get to be known, by always adding value. And you're just kind of the master of that. So I want to thank you.
I find that I meet new people. They're very interesting. I love hearing what they're doing about their lives, where they want to go, and being able to introduce people to each other is super important for their success. And it's just been really fun. And I've been so busy, I haven't been able to keep up the, oh, this is the cat. This is not my phone. To do this. It's really fun to do. I need to take more time to do it. I just haven't had a lot to do it. But this is a great reminder. This is the best contact. I know when I send out an email and I put my quick, I do a quick video and send out to 500 people, it gets 100% opening. So I know it works. So all the stuff that you offer us, it works. What doesn't work is if you don't do anything about it. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Peggy. Good to know. Good to know. Awesome. Awesome. Anybody else want to share anything they took away from today?
I will.
Yeah, Lorraine.
Yeah, well, I just continue to really like this idea of the video texting. And I get really busy doing it when we're all together. And then I forget about it. But it's something that I really look forward to starting to implement.
Awesome.
And then also, I'm excited about that 90-day challenge. I was really looking forward to something that was more geared for real estate, which is what I'm here for. So I'm just excited to have that opportunity.
Awesome. We're excited. It's gonna be a fun 90-day run. It's gonna be intense, but it's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Awesome. Anybody else? Going?
Hey, Casey, it's Steve Love.
Hey, Steve Love. Welcome back, my friend.
Thank you. Sorry I was away. I gosh, I just don't know what to say. I'm just so grateful for you being here today, and I, and so I missed a lot, but I know what you were going to say. I assume you taught them how to write on the cards when you're at events and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah,
And
we had.
if they just put into action, the word is action. Do it, as Peggy was saying. Just do it. Do the action. Don't just say, "Hey, this was a nice exercise. I enjoyed Casey. He's a great guy." He is a great guy. But if you do what he says, and they ain't hard, they ain't hard. Just doing little things like writing on cards and sending people little videos and that kind of thing. It's just amazing. And the stuff you just taught us a couple of weeks ago on making those 57-second videos, I mean, they're going to learn that kind of stuff. It's just amazing. So I don't know what it, in the course of their lifetime, it's going to be worth a lot, these contacts. And again, I'm repeating myself, but it's not just what you know, and I'm a guy that sells content, but it's who you know and getting in front of them.
Absolutely. And Steve, I just want to, I'm going to roll this into the next slide, which is my thank you slide, right? And so, you guys, as we wrap this up, I first want to just say thank you guys for being here. I have to take a couple of seconds and thank a few people. Number one, I've got to thank YT, Yvonne Taruya. She is an instrumental component in everything that we do here. She runs our accountability side. She's my transformational coach. She works with me. She works with our Platinum Inner Circle members. She's absolutely awesome. And so YT, are you on with us, YT?
Yes, she is.
I don't know if we lost her or not.
No, she's there.
I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. Glad to
Hey,
be
you just want to say hi, YT?
Hi, YT.
She moonlights as a comedian. Try the veal.
Oh my gosh. Happy to be here. And it's really an extraordinary space always when we're meeting up with businesses that truly mean business and are here for a future possibility that they can be at cause to have and create. And we're here to support all of that possibility. So as always, Case, thanks for providing this space.
Awesome. Thanks, YT. I also have to thank Bruce Waterman. I know that he is somewhere, we just call him NASA Space Center because somewhere in his space, he's got monitors and keyboards and mouses and clicks and clacks and all kinds of stuff going on that I don't know what any of it means. Half the time, I think he just brings cords to make him, to make that space look confusing. But Bruce, I want to thank you for creating the slide deck, working with me in rehearsals, dealing with my crazy, literally because my printer is not, for some reason, it's not connected to my lovely computer. So Bruce printed out for me the revised slide deck, so I had my notes here. Not only is he one of my very closest friends, but he really keeps all of our technology kind of together. Otherwise, we would be what's called, the technical term for it is hot mess. But because of Bruce, we're just kind of a mess. We've lost the hot part. So Bruce, thank you, my friend, for being here. I have to thank our current Platinum Inner Circle members. I know there are a bunch of you on here, and you guys are staying quiet, and I appreciate that. That's absolutely awesome. But I want to say thank you to all of you Platinum Inner Circle members that are here with us. I know who you are, and it's not lost on me that you're here, and you've been a great way for me to be grounded, to continuously see some friendly faces out here with us. So thank you guys.
Casey, I wanted to, when you have a moment, I wanted to say something.
Okay, go ahead, Marcy.
Okay. One of the things that you keep talking about, and it's taken me a little while to really grasp about how important it is to keep increasing your contacts and building the relationships, building the friendships. I do build the friendships one by one, but I just don't do it enough, and I don't stay constant with it. And, you know, your idea of doing everything to make them feel important that's the whole gist of everything that you are about. Not only that you talked about today, but that, and you've made me feel so important today. I want to cry, but I'm not going to.
Well,
so thank you so much.
Well, awesome, Marcy. Well, Marcy, you are important. We all are important. And Marcy, you are part of the club, young lady. So I just appreciate you being here. I know that there are 8 trillion things that you could do, and you were here.
Yes,
so
that I need to do.
I appreciate that. So I do also have to thank everybody affiliated with Steve Love and the entire Prosperity Through Real Estate team, organization, their unwavering commitment to providing education and platforms to grow entrepreneurs in the real estate space is uncanny. Steve and his team, we've got Giovanna running the show, we've got Matt in the background as well. We've got an entire team of people that work out of Las Vegas and out of Los Angeles here to help grow that community and facilitate that community. And none of this would be possible with all those folks in the background not really being committed to the success of the community. So I thank all you guys. I know a bunch of you will be watching in post and editing, and just huge shout out and hats off to you guys. I have 2 more thank yous I have to do, and then we'll rock out of here. Number 1, I have to thank Steve. Steve Love and his amazing wife, Robin, have been not only really close friends of mine for several years, but clients, friends, customers, back and forth, facilitators, instructors, every adjective of what somebody or something could be. Steve Love has done that. What I love about Steve is that at the end of the day, he is 100% committed to helping entrepreneurs just like you grow their real estate business, whatever that means to you. And I know because I work with Steve privately, how committed he really is at his core to his team, to his community, and to each and every one of you. So Steve Love, I don't know if you're watching this or you're going to see it in post, but I want to thank you. Okay.
You're welcome. I'm watching.
You got it.
You know, the one thing I don't like about Zooms is that I'm a hugger, and I like to hug you and everybody else, and I can't do that.
Yeah, soon enough. Soon enough.
Also, thank you for turning me on to crypto some time ago.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Lorraine, I will make sure that we get you the link for the Wednesday networking. It's absolutely awesome. I know that it's probably located in the there you go. He just put it in there, networking rei.club investors. There's also a Facebook group, and Lorraine, I know since you and I work together, I'll be able to get you that link as well. Okay. And finally, I want to thank each and every one of you for being on the Zoom today. I know there are a gazillion things that you could be doing today. I know there are a gazillion Zooms that you could be hanging out on. I don't know where you are in the world, but here in Los Angeles, it is a beautiful, breezy day today. Sun is out shining. I can't wait to put on some shorts and go for a walk in a t-shirt and just be out in the beautiful sunshine. I think Colorado is like cold and I don't know, there might even be snow, who knows? But I know that the most valuable commodity that each of us has is time. And your willingness and commitment to your business to give up 4 hours of time today is really awesome. And I say that in the grandiose sense of the word. I want to thank each and every one of you guys for being here. I appreciate you. If you would like to participate with our hyper intensive, we would love to have you be a part of it. Bruce will put that final slide back up there. You can, did we lose Bruce? Oh, no, we didn't. Sorry. You can check that out at steveandcasey.club. That's steveandcasey.club. That'll get you into our Hyperdrive Intensive. And remember, if you are part of our Platinum Inner Circle group, please do not register for that. You're already part of that. So with that, you guys, I'll stick around for a few minutes, but other than that, we're out 24 minutes ahead of schedule.
Whoa.
So with that, they're going to stop the recording. They're going to take us off of Facebook Live. And then if you guys want to bow out and jump out, you're more than welcome to. And if you want to chat or you have anything, I'm going to stop the recording. We'll